The Browns, they're putrid. They're the worst team in the NFL.
The season, the 2024 season is over.
Lamar Jackson can't win the playoffs. He'll win a third MVP, though, so that's great.
Drew Sample is the most important piece of the Bengals offense next year.
Go Joe Burrow. He deserves to be MVP. I wish he was the Browns quarterback. Kind of mean that.
If you're looking for the most reactionary, silly, and unserious show on the internet, then you're home. Live from Hamilton, Ohio, it's Off the Bench by Chatterbox Sports on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome in Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. Chatterbox Sports on YouTube, ESPN 1410 in Dayton. Justin Kinner. We got, not Casey today, we got Reed.
Hey,
we got Reed.
Look at
Good
us.
morning, Reed. How are you?
I'm great. You know, more often than not, I feel like scared to come in here because I'm so loathed by you and by everyone in this room. But today I feel loved. So I'm just putting this out on a good note.
Absolutely. So we got Reed. We also got Mr. Elliott.
I'm Elliott. Nice to meet you.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good.
I was watching you guys last night. You guys killed it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for watching.
Is that the first? No, you've done a show like with the crowd in front of you before, right?
No, I don't
No?
think.
Not like that.
I don't think so.
I was like at one point. I know you got distracted or whatever, and I remember you saying that like when we're doing the show.
Yeah.
And people are moving around, it distracts you. And I'm like, I didn't think about that for you whenever you said you were doing a live show out there. So.
Yeah, I should have thought about that, honestly, going in. So there was, shout out to Nate and Mike. Mike and Nate were there. Molly was there. But Nate and Mike were the closest to us. And Nate, at one point, from my vantage point, it looked like he was just yelling at me. He kept going like this and yelling and pointing. What I didn't know is he was talking to Michael about the Chiefs-Ravens game being delayed by rain. So that's what was going on. I interpreted it as they were yelling at me for me to stop or do something.
The thing,
so I didn't know what it was.
The thing Elliott forgot was we were doing the show in a bar. And
Correct.
People were having other conversations.
Correct. It wasn't just silent in there.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. But no, tuned in, again, all Bengals leading into last night's game, of course, and Jacob, host of Chatterbox Bengals, of course. You ever get tired talking about the Cincinnati Bengals?
I really don't.
I didn't
Not
think
at
you
all.
would.
Not
I
one
didn't
bit.
think you would.
It's the best. It's the best. Talking about the Reds has been nauseating for the last 3 months. So it's wonderful to have football back. And we got a real game last night, so we can talk about that eventually.
I think
too.
the Reds are back, dude.
Well, who knows?
In fact, that's what we're
The
opening
Reds
up
are
with.
back?
No, we're not.
That's how we're going to lead off this
No,
show?
we are
the
not.
Reds are back?
I would not do that to you, to you guys.
Someone
at
might
home.
be back.
Well, let's do this. Let's give a round of applause to the Cincinnati Reds because, as we know, the Houston Astros over the last 7 years have been to 7 consecutive ALCSs. They've been to 4 World Series. They've won 2 championships. But over that time, they are winless against the Cincinnati Reds. So really, that's 2 World Series championships for the Reds. That's 4 AL pennants for the Reds because the Reds dominate the Astros. So hanging the banner, take a little bit of pride in that.
I do. My biggest concern is running out of room for all these banners.
That's right.
At some point, I mean, they got to have a game plan for what to do. For extra space.
I'm just glad the Reds are doing what the rest of the league is scared to do and enacting the punishment that the Astros deserve.
Correct.
Fair enough.
That's 100%.
Rod Manfred was too scared, and the Reds are ready to go. They're doling it out.
You see, I'm not big on punishing the people that got caught cheating, or may have been cheating with the sign stealing scandals. Like we forget about the Red Sox did it the next year, and we forget
what about the year before?
Well, I wasn't
There's a
going to
3-year
do
stretch
that.
there.
I wasn't going to do that. But if you look at Javi Baez's stats. There's a pretty clear cutoff of when he stopped being able to hit the ball and when we found out about the whole sign stealing scandal. So I'm not going to say that about my favorite baseball team, but yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway from yesterday, one of the biggest headlines yesterday, was that David Bell was finally let go.
That's right.
David Bell was finally let go. And I was like, it's about freaking time. Like, this guy's just not producing.
It's a good bit.
At a certain point, I was getting pissed off. I mean, all this time with David Bell, I'm like, what are we doing? I'm just waiting to see something, just a little form of life. And it was announced yesterday David Bell has officially been released. And I can't tell you, not David Bell, the manager, though. Not David Bell. By the way, when that was announced yesterday, I did that as a tease on the show in Dayton yesterday. Then went to break, and people just lit me up saying everyone rushed to Google right away. So you're welcome, Google. All 10 of my listeners rushing to Google at one time. It was good stuff. But now just the bust of a pick, a third-round pick from 2022, David Bell, wide receiver, no longer a Cleveland Brown. He wins.
Sad to see.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be a Bengal.
Maybe. So there you go. But we're going to get into last night's NFL opener, Ravens-Chiefs, coming up here in just a little bit. We got some Bengals over-unders around the corner. We'll give you some of our NFL picks. Jacob, we'll get to some college football today. I love the NFL officiating hat.
Thank you. It's back. I rep the league. I just love the game. I love me some pigskin. I love the game. Fall air, breeze in the morning.
Correct.
Fresh cut grass / AstroTurf.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
I'm just glad the Joe Goldberg look returns for day number 2.
That joke was so good. I might just keep wearing a hat every day.
I was just gonna say, like the NFL logo hat that you got. You have some awesome gear, truly awesome gear.
Thank you.
The Rob Lowe NFL hat is the best.
I appreciate that.
It's the best.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no. Yesterday I decided to wear a hat on the show for the first time. I have some good hats in the collection, so I think I'm
gonna bring them out.
I'm gonna start breaking them out.
He has a good head of hair, and he's going to just bury it under that hat.
No,
but I also need a haircut real bad.
Yeah, that's all right.
I know a gal.
Yeah?
I need you to buzz it.
If the Bengals win the Super Bowl, I will buzz it.
I
That's
love
good.
getting buzzed.
If the
dude.
Bengals,
Oh, you meant
haircut.
Okay.
If the Bengals start slow, and I think me buzzing my hair could turn it around, I will also buzz it. So that's kind of the two options for me right now.
Speaking of buzzing, like Joe Burrow came in with a buzz cut to training, and then I saw pictures of him recently. He needs to buzz it again. It's getting a little
agree.
long.
Too long?
Like if we're doing it, let's do it,
I
right?
agree.
Like if we're gonna do the buzzed haircut, let's do the buzzed haircut, because last time that Joe Burrow got a buzzed haircut, Kenner got a buzzed haircut, so that means that Kenner gets another haircut.
So that's what we do every time Burrow gets a haircut. I get a haircut.
You just have the same schedule.
Just not bleaching the hair.
Yeah.
Well, we know
Just
you're a big
not-
Joe Burrow guy.
That's
Absolutely.
right. I mean, just listen to the intro. He wishes he was the quarterback of the Browns.
I kind of mean that.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, let's get to it. Before we dive into all things NFL, Bengals, college football heading into the weekend, let's get caught up on what else has been going on in the world of sports. We open up with Elliot's headlines.
Whoa!
Whoa. Not ready for this.
Oh, my bad. I keep
Three
forgetting.
things. Joey Votto, David Bell, and leading off the bench with top headlines.
That's right. The Reds, we talked about it, but are they back? I don't know if they're back, but they might be back.
Ooh.
They've now won 9 in a row against the Astros. Rhett Lauder threw 6 in the third innings, allowing 4 hits while striking out 3. Rhett Lauder?
Dog? I think so.
Might be really good.
To me.
Thanks, Reed.
Tony Santillan, Alexis Diaz brought it home. The Reds hold on 1-0.
Do you think that was the best second start of the year?
No.
Probably not.
I don't think so. It was a good start, though. It was a good start. Ty France tied a record for best batting average in a 3-game series, hitting .818 with 9 hits. 9 hits in the series with the Astros. Jake Fraley added a couple of hits himself with a double. Spencer Steer, I don't know if anybody saw this, and I can't show the video due to copyright. Spencer Steer drew a walk yesterday in that game. The umpires apparently lost count,
I saw that.
and he struck out. How is that possible? How did no umpire stop that?
Well, it's not that no umpire stopped it. No one stopped it. How did Spencer Steer forget the count?
The only
Because
person
only-
that seemed
only
like
would-
knew was Sadak.
Like
It's true.
Like someone in the dugout, someone who I don't know who was on second base at that time, but like Spencer Steer should like turn around like that's ball 4. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're counting up to 4. Like you should be able to do that. I know you're in the heat of battle, and I know it's the umpire's job, but like also like that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to be like, hey, that was ball 4, and then they go time, and they ask somebody else. And then,
Well, you see him ask the umpire too. The pitch before, it's 3-2, right? It's 3-2, and then that pitch happens. So I don't know. I don't know what exactly went on. I don't know if anybody talked about it in the post-game press conference, but that's terrible. That's
Really bad.
That's egregious.
is that on David Bell for not having his team like?
It certainly might be. It certainly might. It's honestly that one actually might be on David
I
Bell.
blame the professors in Eugene, Oregon for not teaching Spencer Steer how to count to 4.
That's right. But good for Spencer Steer. It's a walk in our hearts. And by the way, in a 1-0 game. You think that base runner would have mattered? Reds are back at it tonight against the New York Mets.
We won.
No, but I'm saying like if they tie like you.
So no, I don't think that base
Well,
runner
no,
would
but I'm
have
like if you need a run and if there was ever a game where you need a base runner, it's the game where you're up 1-0.
In theory, it could have mattered.
Could have mattered. It could have
In
mattered.
hindsight, it did.
In hindsight, it didn't
In
matter at all.
hindsight, it did. Reds are back at it tonight against the New York Metropolitans, where season-long starting pitcher Fernando Cruz is taking on Sean Manaea. Cruz enters play with a 4.99 ERA and a 1.35 WHIP.
I was upset about the state of our starting pitchers for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just funny now.
Yeah, it's
So
very
I
funny.
think I'm just in.
Good job, Fernando. Good
Yeah.
luck. Sean Manaea enters play with a 3.35 ERA and a 1.12 WHIP. Around the league, the Tigers, they were down to their final strike yesterday. They trailed 3-0 in the top of the ninth with the bases loaded. Parker Meadows was up at the plate, hit a go-ahead grand slam with 2 strikes and 2 outs to win the game. Incredible.
Shout out Jimmy.
Shout out to Jimmy. Tigers beat the Padres 4-3. Rangers beat the Angels 3-1. Rockies win 3-1 against the Braves, who are now tied with the Mets for that final wild card spot. So the Mets are going to be playing for something here against the Cincinnati Reds this weekend. The Pirates, they crushed the Nationals 9-4. Phillies win 5-2 over the Marlins. And Patrick Bailey, he walked it off for the Giants in their win over Arizona. And now, the first time I get to read stats for an NFL game.
Woo!
NFL game, the season opener. It started late due to rain. Thank you, Nate Seltzer and Michael Ackley. The Chiefs beat the Baltimore Ravens in the NFL opener 27-20. Final score, Ravens were a toe away from tying that game. And they would have gone, we're going to talk about it, but they would have definitely gone for 2. Had that touchdown counted. Patrick Mahomes, 20 for 28 for 291 yards, a touchdown, and the very worst interception I've ever seen. Isaiah Pacheco went 15 for 45 on the ground with a touchdown. Rashee Rice, he caught 7 passes for over 100 yards. Travis Kelce, quiet for somebody who had Travis Kelce over 5.5 catches. 3 catches for 34 yards. Finished the night 4th in receiving for Kansas City. Xavier Worthy might be the story of the game for the Chiefs. Started his career out hot, 2 catches for 47 yards and a touchdown, as well as a 21-yard rushing touchdown. Lamar, 26 for 41, 273 yards and a touchdown. He added 122 yards on 16 carries. Derrick Henry was neutralized, 13 carries for 46 yards. He did score a touchdown to start that game. Isaiah Likely had 9 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown. The backup tight end, Isaiah Likely, 9 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown. Mark Andrews nowhere to be found. Zay Flowers caught 6 passes for 37 yards. That's it for that game. The final news I have for the NFL, and this does regard the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefsaholic. Chiefs superfan, Chiefsaholic. He is now in prison for the next 17 and a half years for robberies. He just liked to rob.
Do you know what their plea was originally? He wanted to get it down from 17.5 to 15 for Patrick Mahomes. That was actually something they asked for.
What does that mean?
Just
That
because
means-
Mahomes is number 15.
That means you could put insanity on the table.
They were
You
like,
could put insanity on the
17
table.
and a half. Just give me 15 for my guy.
Yeah, that's
I
outrageous.
appreciate that.
I
mean,
appreciate it
if his
too.
He
quarter-
stole money from these banks. He robbed these banks to bet on the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl.
Too bad
He
his
won all
quarterback.
his bets.
If his quarterback
And he
was
took the money back.
if his quarterback was Burrow, he'd be going for 9. If Watson was his quarterback, very short term.
Well, he'd probably get out on a plea deal at all.
I mean,
Wouldn't go to
or he
jail
would
at all.
hire Deshaun's lawyer.
He'd pay them all off.
Yeah.
But is what it is. So
But those are your headlines.
that's it.
That's
We're
it.
good.
That's
we
it.
got it all in.
Got it all in.
Now we can
There
move
you
on
go,
to the
Craig.
NFL.
Started the show with him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to mix it up a little bit. Back-to-back days where we open up with
Special.
And that is a perfect way to segue. And we just talked, of course, you just did the brief rundown of last night's NFL opener, Chiefs-Ravens. Ravens, as you said, just a toe short. Just a toe short.
Little bit.
We'll talk about that more when we come back. Takeaways from last night's opener, Chiefs-Ravens. Next, more off the bench when we come back. So the Ravens lost last night. Yesterday, I did not think the conversation of, and again, thinking back of how we organized that segment yesterday of, who are you pulling for last night? It should have been, who do you want to see lose more? And I think that would have been a much different response as far as how that went last night. You said last night there's only one answer. There's only one answer that you
did
go
watch.
for the Chiefs. I did. I said that earlier. I was watching you
He was
guys
in the
last
chat a
night.
little
I was in
bit.
the chat. Someone said I look like Mr. Bean, and then I left.
Skinny Mr. Bean.
Skinny
So
Mr.
it was a compliment.
Thank you for the
And then an
compliment.
insult.
And
It's
then-
the give
yeah.
and take.
I was like, Mr. Bean. I looked it up, and I'm like, oh.
No.
but he said skinny
You had to
first.
look up Mr. Bean?
Well, I mean, I had an idea.
on.
But skinny Mr. Bean with you here.
We can rock it.
But no,
It's better than the clown.
Clown Bean.
Well, it just guys, Clown Kenner, all the clowns.
Clown
No,
Bean.
no clown
Bean. What are we
Not where I
talking
was
about?
going.
Yeah. But no, yesterday. So when that game kicks off last night, the Chiefs look dominant to start. You don't feel good about that. Like, you get pissed off. You don't get pissed off that the Ravens look dominant to start. Like, which team are you more angry about watching succeed early on last night in that game? Which team brought out more of the negative energy from you?
Listen, I've had this take for a long time. I said this last year when the conversation about the AFC Conference Championship. It's like, who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for your interdivision rival or the team that's kind of been your rival over the past 2 years in the Kansas City Chiefs? And it's a twisted take that I have, but one that I feel confident about it. It's you want the Chiefs to beat everyone, because if other teams start beating the Chiefs, what are the Bengals? What are the Bengals at that point?
It's like those Reds banners right there.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, that's the one, like, mystify. The reason that we constantly get put up in the upper echelon of teams in the NFL is because we have Joe Burrow, and the reason the mythos around Joe Burrow is he's the only active quarterback and one of only 2 quarterbacks that can beat Joe Burrow in the postseason. So if other teams just start beating the Chiefs willy-nilly, what are the Cincinnati Bengals anymore? So that's where I put it. And also, like, that's the twisted reality. The other one is, like, why do you want a division rival to win? Why do you want a division? I know we can beat them twice. I know you can do all those things, but, like, I just want everyone in the AFC North to lose constantly, because I know the Chiefs are going to be really good. I know the Chiefs are going to be competing for the 1 seed. And everything we've seen from the Chiefs are that they're going to go to the AFC Championship game regardless of what happens. So go ahead and pencil them in there. I just want the Chiefs to beat up on everyone. Also, I don't know if you know this about me, but when it comes to the best athletes in sports, I want them to dominate. I think that's fun. Like, in baseball, I like Shohei Ohtani because I think it's amazing. I like Patrick Mahomes. I like Tom Brady when he was there. Like, I like LeBron. Like, I want dominance from the best. So it doesn't bother me when Patrick Mahomes is beating up on everyone. And so that's just where I was. Is I want the Ravens to always lose, because I want the Chiefs to beat up on everyone, so that when we beat the Chiefs, when we continue to make Burrowhead, it feels a lot better.
No, and that's fair. I don't think you have a wrong answer with any of this stuff. I was just curious last night. It's one thing to say it heading in, but as the game's going on, which team, when they're having a successful drive, is irritating you the most? I tell you what, I got pretty annoyed coming into work today because ESPN Radio, listening to that on the way in, watching Get Up and some of the other shows, it was the excuse hour for Lamar Jackson. We said this yesterday. That's why I changed it to, it's not like they hype up the Ravens. It's Lamar Jackson, the apologist for Lamar Jackson. I mean, today Ryan Clark making me nauseous, saying, keep in mind, we could criticize them all you want, but the bottom line is the only reason they had a chance to win is because of Lamar Jackson. I'm like, we know that. We know that. Just like the Bills, the only reason they have a chance to win is because of Josh Allen. We still criticize Josh Allen when he doesn't get it done in the postseason. Like, that's just the reality of it. We know that Aaron Rodgers, 4-time MVP, we know that the only reason any of his teams ever have a chance to win is because of him. But we also say we haven't been to a Super Bowl in over 12 years, despite all those MVPs. We say that about everybody. Last night was beyond nauseating. Not nauseating, but just like to hear, like, Lamar will make a big-time highlight play, but it's all the plays he doesn't make. Like, their biggest strength is Lamar, but also at times their biggest handicap, their biggest weakness at times. Underthrew so many receivers down the stretch. We could talk about, all the plays that he can make with his legs, but at the end of the day, you go get Derrick Henry so he doesn't have to make those plays. He makes those highlight plays because of what he can't do with his arm. When he's not patient enough to wait in the pocket, sometimes that pocket collapses. I know that offensive line a little bit banged up, or obviously very different than it was a year ago. But at the same time, it's the same talking points with Lamar Jackson every single year. It's so he distracts you with his playmaking ability with his legs. He'll make a solid throw, a great throw every once in a while, but it's the throws he doesn't make. It's the bad throws he makes, the overthrows, the underthrows, all of those things. I don't expect him to be perfect, but at the same time, when you are the reason your team has a chance to win, at some point, even though they win a lot of games, you have to be the reason that your team wins against the best, and that's Patrick Mahomes, and that's the Chiefs. Say what you want about, Lamar Jackson, but the bottom line is he just doesn't get the job done. He doesn't get the job done against Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow has no regular season awards. He has no MVPs. All right? Bottom line is, that don't matter. I'd much rather have the quarterback that has that inner juice to go beat Patrick Mahomes, whether it's in Cincinnati or in Kansas City. It doesn't matter. I'd much rather have the quarterback in Joe Burrow without any MVPs who can go and win no matter where they're at, versus a guy that has all the regular season awards and just can't seem to get it done, even in the clutchest of moments against Patrick Mahomes. The Ravens had a shot last night to put the league on notice. You go get Derrick Henry, 5 carries on that opening drive that resulted in a touchdown. You gave him the damn ball 3 times the rest of the half. You only gave it to him 5 times in the second. Now you're playing from behind. I get that. It kind of changes your plan of attack as far as Derrick Henry is concerned. But at the end of the day, you beat the Chiefs last night in Kansas City after acquiring Derrick Henry in the offseason, after that impressive opening drive. You put the league on notice. They didn't put the league on notice last night. All they did was remind me, you, and everyone else, maybe you, I'm curious your take, Reed, on this. You just reminded everyone, oh, yeah, you're a team that's going to win a lot of games in the regular season, but the teams that matter and the games that matter later in the year, I don't think people are going to have the confidence in them to get that done. That's why I thought for a week 1 game, there was a lot of ramifications for losing that game if you're the Ravens, and I think we're seeing that already this morning.
Yeah. We need to start by saying Lamar had an incredible game. He had 273 passing yards and 122 yards on the ground. That's an insane game. He did everything for that Ravens offense. He's not supposed to, though.
Yeah.
If Lamar's
Fair.
doing all that, the Ravens cannot go as far as they want to go. And that's what I think the reality of the situation is. They went out and paid Derrick Henry, like you said, so Lamar doesn't have to do that. And then Justice Hill got more snaps than him last night. I think the Ravens are so entrenched in what they want to do and what they've done in the past that has already worked that they're not going to change their offense to adapt to their new roster. The defense is worse. The O-line is worse. You're going to have to rely on Derrick Henry a little bit more. You're going to have to do a little bit more gimmicky stuff on the outside because the O-line didn't stop Lamar from being pressured all night long. He was running for his life basically the entire night. So you're going to have to be a little bit more creative in the schemes. And then losing your defensive coordinator last year, that defense was incredible. I'm really worried about a lot of pieces on the Ravens. I mean, they're going to take care of the teams below them. But any team on their level or above them, last night did not make me feel great about the Ravens.
It kind of felt like the AFC Championship game last year when Todd Monken decided to just stop running the ball. Like, it was working the first drive or two where Derrick Henry was pounding the Ravens. That might come out wrong. He was running very well against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then you stop it all of a sudden, and it becomes the Lamar scramble fest. And the design runs for him don't really work. It's when he drops back to pass, he's like, oh, yeah, let me run off. Let me run off now. And don't get me wrong, that's awesome. That's great. But I feel like if you stuck with the game plan, you kept running it down the Chiefs' throat, then it opens up the Lamar playbook. Then it opens up everything. And they didn't do that. They stopped it very early on, and it brought the Chiefs back in that game. And if it wasn't for, again, one of the silliest interceptions I've ever seen, that game probably wouldn't have been even as close as it was.
It's so when I think about last night's game, and we talked about this on the show last night, is it seemed like the Ravens had infinitely more to lose. Like, the Chiefs lose that game, who cares? They're the back-to-back Super Bowl champs. The Ravens are kind of trying to still establish that they are one of the premier teams in the AFC. And you could say, well, they went down to the wire. They had a chance to tie it or take the lead, and one toe would be out. But here's what I'll say about Lamar. He did have a great game, over 400 yards personally gained. But on the final drive of the game, and he made a great pass to get them in position to win the game, he misses 2 passes. He throws 2 balls that I think should be the new Wonderlic test. Like, you have to complete those passes to even play in the National Football League. Seriously. And I've seen him make those throws before, and I don't think Lamar Jackson actually gets enough credit for how accurate of a passer he has become in the NFL. But this is what we talk about with Lamar. And it's part of the reason that we love Joe Burrow is because Joe Burrow's cold, calculated. It seems like no pressure's too big for Joe. Patrick Mahomes, he's done enough winning now where it doesn't seem like any situation's too big for Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson, who wants to be on that tier, who wants to be up there, had a chance, had an open guy in the back of the end zone, would have taken a nice throw, but if you just lead him into the back corner of the end zone like every other quarterback in the league can, he doesn't plant his foot and he throws an errant pass. Then the next time he's trying to lead the guy and he misses a wide open Rashad Bateman in the back of the end zone. 2 back-to-back plays in the final 15 seconds against the Super Bowl champs opening weekend in a game that a lot of people thought that they had to win. I don't want to necessarily go there, but they did have a lot to lose, and he misses both of them? He misses both of those passes? I don't know. Maybe the conversation that we're having about Lamar Jackson and that he freezes up or he just isn't himself in these big games. I think he has like a 65 passer rating when playing in the postseason or against the Chiefs. That's not going to cut it. When you want to be in the upper echelon, when you want to be in tier 1 of quarterbacks, you have to make that pass. You have to make either one of those passes, or it doesn't matter what I think of you. It doesn't matter what you do against the Cleveland Browns, little dig at your team there. It doesn't matter what you do against the New Orleans Saints or the bottom of the league. It doesn't matter if you can't make those passes at the end of the game. And that's where I'm at with Lamar. That's where I'm at with the Ravens, is until I see him make those big-time passes in these big-time moments with millions and millions of eyes and a chance to stay that the Ravens are still here, he didn't make those passes, Justin.
No, and it's a good point. Look, I know you guys have talked about this like with Trace and that Super Bowl run for the Bengals when they got there. Joe Burrow wasn't elite in quarters 1 through 3. The Bengals win all those games because of what Joe Burrow did in the fourth quarter of those games. Joe Burrow was not very good in the first half of the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. Second half, the Bengals offense just erupts, right? So we could talk about Lamar and had a great game. He won me money, by the way. I took the over 320 or the over 325 total yards. So
nice.
He won me a nice little chunk of change. So shout out to Lamar.
Very
but it doesn't
nice.
matter
Shout
what
out
you
to
do in
Lamar.
quarters 1 through 3. You're going to win MVPs when you're dominant in quarters 1 through 3, and you win a lot of regular season games. But the bottom line is what you do in that fourth quarter. Lamar could have played poorly in quarters 1 through 3, completed those 2 passes that you talked about,
right.
and then we're going to talk about the clutch gene that all of a sudden now we feel confident that the quarterback does not. You always say that Joe Burrow doesn't fear Patrick Mahomes. I don't think other quarterbacks fear Patrick Mahomes, but I think it's the moment that you find yourself in. I think that playing at Arrowhead is a very tough place to play. Joe Burrow has proven, doesn't matter if it's in Cincinnati, doesn't matter if it's at Arrowhead, Burrowhead, doesn't matter. He's going to play at a high level. Lamar had a chance to put himself in that conversation last night, and that's what he missed. I see some people in the chat. I agree with you. The Ravens aren't out of anything. They're going to make the playoffs. They're still going to be competing with the Bengals for the top of that division. But when you're at the point that the Ravens are, where you win all the time, we don't care. We're bored with that. We all know that no one gives a rip what you do the rest of the regular season. It's what you're going to do in those clutch moments against those other elite quarterbacks, like when you play the Bengals coming up, like when you play the Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and then, of course, what you do in the playoffs. So that's really what this comes down to. This doesn't impact anything on the season. It is game 1. You would like to think that they get Derrick Henry more involved as the season goes on. But at the end of the day, the Ravens, they're fine, but that cloud's going to continue to follow Lamar Jackson moving forward because of that game.
And last night's game didn't help my appreciation for him, because I do think Lamar Jackson's a very good quarterback, but I'm starting to think that he's a box score quarterback. When you look at every game, you're going to see that he puts up every single number you want to see, and by the end of the season, the Ravens don't win another Super Bowl. And I think you're kind of seeing that. Reed's right. The throw he missed at the back of the end zone there, I'm okay if you missed that throw. It's a little left, little right, little high, little low. He missed it so bad that it's almost like he shouldn't have been quarterbacking the game.
The first one was okay, whatever, right? That's a tougher throw. The second one's inexcusable.
The second one was the worst. No joke. I've never seen a miss that bad. I was watching the game at home, and I literally looked at the TV, and I just stared at it for 5 seconds. And I think it was Bateman who the cameras just showed him laughing. I think it was just him just laughing back at the camera because he couldn't believe that he was that wide open and Lamar couldn't find him. Couldn't throw it within 5 feet of him. That's how bad of a throw that was to tie the football game.
I did see a lot of people saying that he wasn't throwing it to Zay Flowers.
Really?
If you watch it back, Bateman breaks his route off to the edge,
Yeah.
and if he would have sat down, it still probably would have been high, but it would have been a much better throw. And obviously, he's out of the shot, and Zay Flowers is open in the back of the end zone. But it might not have been quite as bad as it looked. Still a really, really bad miss, a throw you have to make. But, the Ravens are going to be fine.
Lamar, the talking point, obviously, but I will say this about the Chiefs, as much as we can't stand the Chiefs as well. They look fast. They look super fast now. Like last year, I thought they looked kind of slow. But Travis Kelce is no longer the number 1 option for Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
And I think that's a scary thing for the rest of the NFL. I'm curious. I really want to see the Bengals defense coming up this weekend. I know that's the Patriots. It's not really about who they're playing. It's just I just want to see a different attack from the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm super excited for that Week 2 matchup between those two teams. Because this is a different type of Chiefs offense. Rice looks really good. I don't know how he's still playing right now. That I don't understand that, but that's besides the point. But yeah, you get Xavier. He looked great. But yeah, both tight ends last night, 2 of the best tight ends in football, really weren't any factors at all. That's what's kind of wild.
And by the
Mark
way,
Andrews.
they didn't have their number 2 option either, the Chiefs. So Malcolm Brown was out with an injury. So Hollywood Brown. Sorry. Did he legally change his name to Hollywood?
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Oh wow. All right. So Hollywood
It
Brown.
also wasn't Malcolm before that, but nice save.
What was it?
Marquise.
That's right. That was my bad. Who am I thinking of? Anyway,
Malcolm
nonetheless,
Butler?
that's probably
The Patriots corner that had the Super Bowl pick?
maybe. I don't know who I was thinking of then.
He changed his name like John Artest.
Yeah, correct.
See what I did there?
Correct.
Thank you. It took us. My bad.
That was good. That was good. Either way, yeah, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and if they're
Yeah.
going to be able to play great football without using Travis Kelce all game long, they're pretty scary. Their
And-
defense is legit still.
It's nice when your defensive coordinators are allowed to call timeouts for your head coach too.
Yeah,
That's-
that was
I can't wait for
crazy.
Anarumo to try that on Sunday. We'll
Yeah,
see,
Steve Spagnuolo running
I
down the
saw that,
sideline,
yeah.
calling a timeout in the middle of the game, and the refs just give it to him. No flag. Give him a timeout.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Assistant coaches are not allowed to call timeouts in the NFL. It's only the head coach.
You would know. You have a referee hat on.
That's right. Yeah. No, I went to class. I did the studies. Yeah. No, it's you can't do that. And the only team that gets to do that is the Chiefs. And then you see, Ronnie Stanley gets flagged for illegal formation. Feels like 30 times, and Jawan Taylor is running backwards before the ball's snapped on every single play.
Yeah.
I don't understand it at this point.
The last thing I'll say, the one play I looked at the TV and I was like, what's going on here? Shades of Osai when Roquan shoved Patrick Mahomes a good 3-4 steps
is
out of
that not a
bounds.
flag?
No flag anywhere near. That was a wild one to me. But I don't know. Maybe Rodgers sent a call down. This is to show we're not rigging the game for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and last night, usually I'm always like poking at you guys like, oh, come on, stop. The refs aren't always benefiting the Chiefs. But I'm like, at a certain point last night, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
I got nothing. Like, I don't know if they do it on purpose or not, but the bottom line is there was enough last night to be like, they were picking on the Ravens, the Chiefs doing the same thing and nothing. Maybe the official got tired because he threw a lot of flags on that opening drive.
I was
have no idea.
I was anti-ref excuse until the Chiefs got 5 downs in the AFC Championship. That's
Yep.
when I was like, all right,
That'll do it.
This has to be. There's something going on here.
All right, Off the Bench presented by United Dairy Farmers. Chatterbox Sports on YouTube, ESPN 1410 in Dayton. Let's talk a little Bengals when we come back. So my prediction was wrong. I thought last night, right before kickoff, I thought we'd get the JaMarr Chase announcement. We did not. That's why when I saw the rain delay, I texted you guys saying, oh, man, the rain delay is going to impact JaMarr Chase's announcement. No JaMarr Chase announcement. I guess that's the headline. Plus, T. Higgins popped up on the injury report yesterday. I know you guys talked about this last night. I'm curious your guys' thoughts on that. We'll get to all of that coming up. Bengals preparing for the Patriots for their Week 1 matchup, 1 o'clock to kick off on Sunday. We'll get to all of that next. More Off the Bench. All right, and we're back. Justin Kinner, we got Reed, we got Elliott, and we got Jacob here on a Friday. And heading into Week 1, I guess it's already Week 1. Kevin and I have been joking about this on our show. Like when we do our, we had to cram in all of our predictions yesterday on our show in Dayton because I was like, well, we'll just get to that tomorrow. And he's like, no, you can't do that. I was like, why? Well, the season kicks off tonight, being last night. I was like, oh, yeah, you can't treat this like the first 4. You can't turn in your bracket on Friday after the first 4 has wrapped up. Like, you got to turn it in, but you can't treat it like that, right? But, no, nonetheless, the season, I guess the second game of the season tonight, you have the Packers and the Eagles. That's the game in Brazil. And then, of course, we just wait for Sunday for the full slate of games. That game in Brazil is kind of wild. All the players coming out. Some are telling their families not to even show up. You're not allowed to wear the color green out on the streets, which is wild because the NFL takes the 2 teams that are predominantly green. I mean, you have the Green Bay Packers, the Philadelphia Eagles, and so their fans, you're asking their fan bases to go to Brazil to support their teams. And then, oh yeah, if you wear a green, you're supporting a gang, and you might get shot. So there's that whole thing. I mean, that's dangerous stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the stories coming out before the teams went down there were pretty scary. Like the instructions the players were given that they aren't allowed to leave the complex, aren't allowed to leave the stadium, all that different stuff. But I don't know if it's NFL forced or team forced or anything. But now that they're down there getting work in, there's been a lot of clips about how they're having fun and loving it in Brazil. So I would imagine that that's a PR push by the NFL with how bad the press has been around this game. But we'll see what happens.
Listen, it'll be fine, guys. Like there's no way that they're going to let these millionaire athletes that make billionaires money anything happen to them, and there's just no way that where they're going is any worse than going to Berea, Ohio, or Pittsburgh, or Baltimore.
That's strike 2.
Yeah.
I've been
in the
very
AFC
nice
North.
today. I've been like pro Joe Burrow. I even called it Burrowhead.
Yeah.
Jerk. I mean, my gosh. And I agree, Berea sucks. That's why they're trying to get out. They're trying to. No, but yeah, wild stuff. No, but like I thought about it from a fan perspective. If you're a fan going to support your team,
Yeah.
don't wear green.
I'm so done with the new games, new international games. I think
Yeah.
London's fine. Germany's fine. They really show out and they do great jobs. The Mexico City game was a terrible experiment. The lasers interrupted the game and were trying to blind players, and that was terrible. And I would imagine that this experiment is a one and done in Brazil with how bad the press has been around it. So we'll see what happens.
Well, hasn't there been some? I think Mousecop even put this in there. Like the whole green thing wasn't like originally it was a gang thing. Like there's gangs and stuff like that. That turned out not to be true. It's just like the stadium has a no green policy.
I think it's a soccer rivalry thing.
Yeah, it's a soccer. Yeah, it's like whoever plays there.
I like the idea of gangs
Yeah.
better.
Well, I mean that's
Makes
just
it seem-
just what we do. Oh, they're going to another country. It must be dangerous. Must
not
be
safe like
dangerous.
here in America.
That's right.
Let's take a good hard look in the mirror there, America. Yeah, Berea, Ohio.
Everywhere else is really dangerous compared to here. To be honest, I was a little nervous making my way in the building today, to be quite honest.
Okay. Okay, there we go.
Sketch people outside. I just want to be honest with you as far as that's concerned.
Come on now.
The day that I'm on the show, we're doing this.
I
The
love
day
it.
that I'm on the show, we're doing this. Hamilton's a beautiful, beautiful place. Shout out Alexander.
I'm not saying the whole. I mean, just never mind. You know what? Let's get to it. The Cincinnati Bengals. In all seriousness, JaMarr Chase. No announcement yet, but back-to-back days of practice. I joked yesterday. Hey, he reported to practice the other day. I said I'm not going to feel any way about it till he shows up for 2 straight days because that's the longest he's made it into practice this off-season or this camp, of course. No announcement yet, but I don't think that matters. It seems like, look, Zach Taylor's been very adamant he's going to play Sunday. Joe Burrow has been telling the media he's going to play Sunday. I think we all feel confident he's going to play Sunday. I'm just curious, is the contract done? They just haven't announced it? Or is JaMarr Chase and his side just saying, I guess Mike Brown really doesn't blink, and let's get ready for Sunday? I don't know. I'm kind of curious how this is going to pan out, if an announcement is made before Sunday or if they just didn't get a deal done. I have no idea what to make of this.
Ian Rapoport reported last night, about an hour before kickoff, that the Bengals had a substantial offer on the table to JaMarr, and that he thought a deal was close to getting done, and confirmed JaMarr will play on Sunday. So 3 big things right there that we hadn't really heard yet. There was speculation that they had been going back and forth in negotiations. There was speculation that there was some pretty big offers on the table from the Bengals, but this is the first time that has really been confirmed. After seeing that tweet coupled with what we talked about yesterday, his press conference being today, not yesterday, the Adam Schefter tweet about the Joe Burrow contract extension, I thought all 3 of those things combined, I really thought that it was going to get done before kickoff last night. That has been my deadline the entire offseason, has been once that ball's in the air on Thursday night, I don't think a contract's getting done. I'm going to bump that deadline a little bit now that it's passed. I'm going to move it to kickoff at 1 o'clock on Sunday. I think when the Bengals start on Sunday, if he's not extended, then it's officially off the table. I don't think it's going to get done. I think JaMarr's going to play this year, and the contract's going to get done next year, like everyone else in the history of the sport until recently.
Yeah, I didn't. It was my belief all along that he wasn't going to get a new deal this offseason or this preseason. I just never thought it was going to happen. I don't think the Brown family was going to cave, and it's looking like that's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to happen week 3, week 5, week 7. As the season goes on, I think he'll play every single game. I think he'll be ready to play every single game, and then in the offseason he will become the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. There's no sense of him losing out $20 million or whatever he makes per game this season to get a new contract. Make your money, and then you'll become the highest paid wide receiver. It's going to get done. I do trust the Bengals that they are going to make this deal, but I just didn't see a need for them to do it 2 years early. It didn't make sense to me.
I think if there was a bridge burnt on contract negotiations, we wouldn't be so confident that JaMarr's playing on Sunday. It would have gotten much uglier or anything much louder during the offseason. I think the way it all went, the Bengals are going to get it done next offseason.
He talks with the media today.
Yeah.
JaMarr
Very
does.
interested to see what he says.
So that it might come out then. I think last time I hosted, it was the day after he practiced the first time.
Your anniversary.
Yeah, it was my anniversary.
Your anniversary,
That's right. Thanks for having me work on my anniversry.
I like you remembering it was JaMarr Chase's first day back at practice, and not that it was your anniversary.
Well, the reason. Hopefully, Mariana isn't watching this.
Done.
Sorry,
Hopefully
Reed.
Mariana isn't watching this one. The reason I remember that is because I in my opening monologue I just said JaMarr Chase is going to play week 1. Duh. And I still believe that. Like even after what happened afterwards, where he kind of showed up, Zach Taylor, when he came out and all this news, and now it's looking like he's going to play, contract extension or no, it's still just a big old dub, because one thing that we keep forgetting when talking about this, and I don't know how it got to this point, is that he had this much leverage. No leverage.
Yeah.
His only leverage was over this city, over the fans that love him so much and want to see him play, to where if like we put pressure on Mike Brown. That was the only leverage he has, and now that we are getting closer to the game, and he's got to play because he doesn't want to push back his final 2 years to free agency and all this stuff. Yeah, he had no leverage. He's gonna play, contract extension or not. He's going to, and I hope I don't have egg on my face after this whole thing, but I just can't see a world in which he doesn't play, and we'll forget all about this. I said this last night. We'll forget all about this the first time that we see Uno grittying in the end zone. The first time that we see JaMarr Chase get 6 for the Bengals, and we're singing touchdown Bengals, put some points up on that board and win again for Cincinnati. All the contract dispute, all of the stuff that we talked about this offseason goes by the wayside. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say.
By the way, I got called Mr. Bean last night. That one was way worse.
I'm not having a good time.
We don't have to go to that one, but that was
time.
Your self-confidence just took it all.
I'm not having
another laugh.
No, I'm working on my laugh.
Cackling Jacob.
It will be changed by Monday. My mannerisms and laughs will be changed by Monday. I can't be close to that.
I think you're alluding to people knowing what your political affiliations are.
If there's two things that hold true about Chatterbox, Reed and I's political affiliations are unknown and the same.
And the same.
That's the thing that's important for everyone to know, is you don't know where we stand, but we are the same.
Yeah. Jacob's right.
Yeah, sure.
Want to add on?
Thanks, Skinner.
All right, Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers, Chatterbox Sports. On YouTube, ESPN 1410 in Dayton, of course. Let me ask you, last thing on this, JaMarr Chase, please just sign the contract, or please just announce that there's not going to be a deal done this offseason. I'm done talking. I want to be done talking about this contract, but let me ask you guys this. Did he play a little too nice during this negotiation? Jacobs joked all the time that he is the absolute worst at sitting in, the absolute worst negotiator at this point. If he did make it a little louder, if he did miss practice, or if he did, not show, you know what I mean? Like, if he made it a little louder, do you think a deal gets done? I think he made it very easy on the Brown family to look at it the way we are. Like, he's not disgruntled. He's supporting his teammates. Like, he's, the team's confident he'll be in shape to get and ready to go week 1. It's like, well, what's the point? I don't think we're feeling the pressure whatsoever.
If he made it louder, he just makes himself look worse. Because like I just said, he has no leverage.
Right.
He has none. He's got, on a percentage of 1 to 100, he's got his jersey amount of leverage. He's got 1. He's got 1. He's got this much. None at all. So, like, if he made it louder, if he made it more boisterous, all he's doing is creating disruption in a locker room that I think he cares about, on a team that I think he enjoys playing for. And I just don't think, like... Yeah, if he would have made it louder, it's just a way bigger deal than it is, and he had just no leverage. Like, it'd be like me after just, like, not doing anything for, like, taking a 4-week vacation and then coming back and be like, boss, I want a raise. What have you done recently for me? Like, that doesn't play. I'd have no leverage at that point. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, if he made it louder, then he just makes himself look worse.
I also think an aspect that we've talked about a lot that maybe JaMarr doesn't care about, but in my heart of hearts, I want to believe that he does care about, is fan perception. And I think by doing the holdout or hold in the way that he did, he was able to put as much pressure as possible on the Bengals while maintaining a good relationship with the fans and the organization and the media and all that stuff. Because if you make it loud, if you do the Brandon Ayuk, what he's done this offseason, 49ers fans are very upset. And then now you get an extension done, and he's there for the next 4 years, being paid an incredible amount of money, and the fans are trying to get back in on him. And like Reed said, once he scores a touchdown, it's all going to be fine. And even if he had a large holdout, once he scored a touchdown, it was all going to be fine. But I think at some point, there's a level of deterioration with the relationship from a player and fans that can't be built back. And I think that is existing with Ayuk in San Francisco just because of how he handled that, going on Instagram Lives and saying he doesn't want to be there, saying the Niners don't want to be there. I think the only point in JaMarr's holdout where that started to bubble up a little bit is the practicing, not practicing, making Zach Taylor look bad. That's when a lot of the fans turned on the holdout, turned on
That's as
JaMarr.
loud as it got.
Right, exactly. And said, like, you shouldn't be doing this. You're making everyone else look bad now. This is where you cross the line of being selfish because it's affecting other people, not just you. And I'm glad that was the only example of that. I'm glad that he kept it quiet because could he have been more successful if it was loud? Would he have been signed by now if it was loud? Probably. The Bengals are not going to let him walk. If he would have really held their feet to the fire, he would have been signed by now. But I think he realized the lack of leverage, and he realized that he is going to be here long term, and he wanted to keep all those bridges intact, all those relationships intact. And if you're going to have a star player hold out through training camp when you're trying to win a Super Bowl, this is the best way it can happen. I think is the way it happened.
And that's the difference between him and Ayuk. He wants to be in Cincinnati.
Right.
He wants to be the wide receiver for Joe Burrow. He wants this situation. Brandon Ayuk very clearly didn't want to be there. But he's like, you know what? I'll say whatever I want, and if they want to pay me an exuberant amount of money, I'll take it. That's what went on in San Francisco. I think JaMarr Chase, unfortunately, I think he's fallen in love with the city. I think the fan base loves him. I think he wants to play his entire career as a Cincinnati Bengal, probably become the best Cincinnati Bengal wide receivers in franchise history. I think those are all things that he wants, and he was towing the line between wanting that and then also, I need to get paid a lot of money. And I think he was trying to tow both waters, and you can't really do it when you're negotiating that amount of money.
I don't think Ayuk wanted out of San Fran only because he had so many opportunities to get the hell out of San Fran.
Well, the only reason I say that is because he said that in his Instagram live. He's like, they don't want me, I don't want to be here. In one of those or Snapchat, whatever the Instaface, whatever social media app he was complaining on. I think he was alluding to that.
Was it Instagram Threads?
Might have been Threads.
I know a lot of people use that.
It might have been Threads. I have a Threads account. Check out my Threads account.
I have boycotted Threads.
I make Threads just a joke. Everything I say
That's
on
good.
Threads is making fun of Threads.
That's good.
That'll show Zuck.
Take that, billionaire.
Injury report, again, people have been keeping an eye on that. I don't know, is this a big deal or not? T. Higgins / hamstring appears on there. It hasn't led to him missing time or anything like that, but when you see a guy that has had the best camp of his entire career with the Cincinnati Bengals, obviously probably his last year with the Cincinnati Bengals, has to be a little concerned you see hamstring pop up so early. He's not missing practice. He looks full go for Sunday, but that's a little alarming just because that's the worst type of injury. I mean, there's a lot of bad injuries, but that's an annoying type of injury to see next to a wide receiver because that could impact their burst and acceleration and all that fun stuff. Just your thoughts on that. Is that a big deal to see that pop up yesterday, kind of unexpectedly?
For sure. This morning, my level of concern about T. Higgins on the injury report is a 0. If you want to know what it was when I saw that alert pop up, it was like a 12 or 13 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was freaking out when I saw that he was on the injury report because there's even though I am confident JaMarr is going to play, there's still that little bit of threat dangling out there until he's re-signed. And we're going to need T to have a big game with or without JaMarr. I think he's crucial to this offense, and we know how good he can be when he's on. And the Bengals need that to win a Super Bowl. And an injury like the hamstring early in the season can linger all year long. So that's definitely scary. But like we talked about yesterday with Joe Burrow's wrist, the new parameters for the injury report, it's going to take a while to get used to it because you're going to have to take it all with a grain of salt. Because if you get any treatment on an injury, you have to be on the injury report. So if T. Higgins laid on the trainer's table for 10 minutes and got the Theragun on his hamstring, he's on the injury report. So he after practice yesterday, he said that he was fine. He said he feels great. He said he's excited for week 1. Best he's ever felt, best camp he's ever had. So that was reassuring, and that's all I needed to hear. I'm super confident in T starting week 1 and playing well.
Come on, Reed, panic. He may never walk again. T. Higgins, your Super Bowl chances are screwed.
What did you just say
Last place.
about T. Higgins?
He's never going to walk again. That hamstring, it's shot. Their Super Bowl chances out the window. You have a JaMarr who doesn't want to be in Cincinnati. I mean, panic. Come on, panic. Freak out. Do it.
He's never going to walk
Never
again,
going
is
to
what
walk
you
again.
said?
I mean, some say. Rumors.
Hey, listen, I'm not worried about T. Higgins whatsoever. Like Jacob said, it's just what they have to do. If there was news about T. Higgins being significantly hurt, it would come out, and that hasn't come out. So, yeah, take it with a grain of salt. And to be honest, I mean, I'm gonna put myself in a bad spot here.
I love when you do that.
I'm gonna put myself in a bad spot here when it comes to this Sunday's game. But if he needs a little rest, this is certainly one of the games that we could probably make by without T. Because the Patriots have the lowest win total. It's the biggest spread of week 1 and everything like that. And I know the Patriots, once again, I'm putting myself in a corner here. If they lose and all that stuff, I feel pretty confident that the Bengals will get it done. But we want you to be healthy at the end of the year. Even if they do lose, we want you healthy at the end of the year. But I'm not worried about his health. Not worried about it whatsoever. He's not going to walk again, is what you said.
I mean, I go to bed praying every night that he'll be okay.
I thought that was going a different direction.
You're the one yesterday that was wishing
That's true.
injuries
No,
upon
I
people.
I have an injury list. I'm not ashamed. I root for injuries when it benefits my teams. I'm not ashamed to say it.
I don't know if I should say
I'm a bad person. The only thing I care about is winning games and championships.
Well, there you go. More off the bench when we come back. Hell of a tease.
Someone's going to clip that.
Oh, hey, we're back.
Hey.
We got Reed in for Casey. Shout out to Casey.
Hey, soul sister.
Looking forward to him coming back next week. That's not a shot at Reed. By the way, were those sunglasses last night? What the hell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are just straight up sunglasses,
Now,
right?
I'm gonna tattle on Casey here a little bit. It wasn't that bright.
No.
He kept saying the lights were really bright and he couldn't see without the sunglasses.
wasn't that bright.
It really wasn't that bright.
It wasn't that bright.
He knew he looked cool, and that's
He
okay.
did. He looked very cool.
That's okay to know you look cool,
He looks
and
like
then just
Tom
lean
Cruise
into the bit.
From Top Gun.
I mean,
The
him
first
and I,
Top Gun.
we went out drinking the night before. I thought his hangover would be gone by then. I mean, I can't believe he was struggling that much, to be quite honest with you. Shout out to Casey.
He was at what, Pirates Booty before the show?
Yeah, Pirates Booty.
No free ads.
No free ads to Pirates Booty.
Pirates
Booty.
Pirates Den?
Pirates Den.
Booty.
I thought he would know.
I thought he would get it.
Is Pirates Booty where you plunder?
No, Pirates Booty is the popcorn.
All right.
No free ads.
That was the free ad segment of the show.
So the joke was we didn't give a free ad to a business that didn't exist, but the business that didn't exist actually does
exist.
But it's not the business we were talking about.
Right. So it
That's
actually
the
doesn't
joke.
count.
Correct.
So it wasn't even a free ad.
Sports talk.
Splendid.
You said something a little bit ago that caught my attention. If there's ever a game for someone to miss or rest, it's this one.
Yeah.
You guys overlooking the Patriots just a little too much.
Probably.
So since 2003,
100%.
since 2003, favorites of more than 7 points in Week 1 have gone 14-27. Just throwing that out there. You guys
the
getting a
spread
little
or total?
too
Against the spread.
against the spread. You guys getting a little too confident in this matchup against the Patriots.
Certainly. 100% yes, I'm getting too confident because for the first time in this current Joe Burrow era, where the Super Bowl year, we didn't have high aspirations. We're playing the Vikings, who are a pretty good team. We beat them in OT, whatever. Next year, we play the Pittsburgh Steelers week 1. Division rival. We probably overlooked them a little too much, but it's still, once again, a division rival. Then obviously the Browns last year. Those are tough games. All 3 of those games are tough games. For the first time, we kind of are handed on the platter like, hey, this is a team that I think has the best odds to be the number 1 pick
By a considerable margin.
or they're up there, and it seems like their head coach might be in a little over his head based off the stories that have come out about their quarterback controversy. And the one thing that is true about the New England Patriots that you shouldn't be worried about, that you should always be worried, is that they've got defense figured out. Like, for all the things that Bill, he left the cupboard dry when it came to talented players out there in New England, but he knows defense, and this team's going to have a pretty comparable defense this year. Gerard Mayo knows defense. Like that's one thing that New England has. But am I overlooking this game? Certainly. I also understand that if we lose, it's not the end of the world. But this is certainly one of the games. If you could pick any team in the NFL, like who do we want to play week 1? I want to play Jacoby Brissett. I want to play the New England Patriots that have I think Elliott brought up their wide receiving room last year. I hadn't heard any of those names. So it's just, and that's the other thing is you brought up the spread.
Yep.
Like they're 14-27 and over touchdowns, whatever it's been. I don't need to cover the spread either. I'm going to bet it, but I don't need to cover the spread. I just need to win the game. If it's a last second field goal, yeah, do I want them to look better than that? Certainly. But in the NFL, it's not college football. It doesn't matter how you look. It just matters if at the end of the game when the clock hits 0, do you have more points than the other team? And that's all I'm worried about Sunday.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I think gambling. Gambling is great. I do think it's good for sports because it draws more eyes. You care about games you shouldn't care about. But there is this misconception now where every stat I read on Twitter is like, oh yeah, Bengals. It's not looking good for the Bengals because now all the public money is on the page. It's like, but that all has to do with the spread. Everything has to do with the spread. It's 8.5 points. If the Bengals win this on a walk-off field goal, they're 1-0 against an NFL team. The college football format of 2 years ago isn't what the NFL playoff format is. You can win by 1 point every single game. You go 17-0, you're the best team in the league, you have the best chance to win a Super Bowl. It's just vastly different, and that's why I try not to get too caught up in the point spread thing. I won't spoil our picks, but it's looking like I might take Patriots spread. But that doesn't mean I won't have 1,000 parlays with Bengals money line in it because there's no way. I think there's a world where the Bengals lose this game outright. I think there might be a struggle in the game. I think might be a low-scoring game. I think the Patriots defense isn't terrible. So, yeah, I think it might be close, but I think the Bengals win this game. I think they're a better team.
And Bengals haters are seeing everything that me, Jacob Elliott, are saying about this game right now. You know, you Trace, Sean, all these Bengals haters are hearing every word we say where it's like, oh, we're overlooking them. We're not worried about this game. And on Monday, it might be a catastrophe, right? You lose by 2 touchdowns to the Patriots. It's a catastrophe.
That would be bad.
And that's fine. I'm okay. I'm saying this knowing that might happen, and that's okay with me. I just have a lot of confidence, and more so, I have no confidence in the Patriots because all the things that have come out with Gerard Mayo, all the current roster that they have, it doesn't look like an NFL roster at times.
So yeah, I get, and you are right. In the NFL, it's not like there's a committee of people sitting in a room saying, yeah, they won, but man, they didn't look good doing it. But we all know that vibes matter. I just have a hard time believing, and again, this isn't Bengals fans giving up on the season or anything, but I feel like you said if they, kick a field goal to win it as time expires, at least we avoided the upset. But I don't think you guys, I disagree wholeheartedly that if you only win by 3 on Sunday, that you guys are going to feel great coming in. You're gonna say, luckily we got the win. That's all that matters. But I think if you are in a close game with the Patriots, that to me says Joe Burrow didn't outduel Jacoby Brissett. And that's not a shot at Joe. I'm just saying, I disagree wholeheartedly. I think that if the Cincinnati Bengals, I saw Everett say the spread is, not wins or losses. I agree. But you're an 8.5-point favorite against New England, who has literally no offense, none whatsoever. A defense that we're accustomed and we are conditioned to just automatically give the Patriots the benefit of the doubt and say, well, they're a good defensive team, and they have good defensive players, don't get me wrong. But I think when you have Joe Burrow and you have T. Higgins and you have JaMarr Chase and you've revamped that run game and you've revamped that offensive line and you've improved that defense, I'm not being a hater when I say if you don't cover the spread, if you don't win by more than 8.5 coming up on Sunday, I'm not saying that you guys are overrated. I'm not saying that you're not winning the Super Bowl or that you're not making the playoffs or that you're not a good team. I'm just saying, all right, they're not off to as hot of a start as what you guys thought, considering Joe Burrow's been healthy for the first time in his career. That's not hating. I'm not stirring the pot. I just feel like I disagree. I don't think you guys will be super pleased if you come in only winning by 1 possession against a very bad Patriots team come Monday morning when we get in.
You're going to be pretty annoyed with how I handle Bengals season, I think. Because, yeah. Okay. If we win games, I don't care. At all.
So if the Browns beat a bad team by a field goal, and you're saying, man, it took full 4 quarters to beat the Patriots.
Oh, no, I'll do it for other teams. I'm talking about how I react to the Bengals. Yeah.
Double standards here, brother.
Yeah, no, everything changes based on what benefits my current interest. But the Bengals, if we get out of the game on Sunday with a win, am I going to be critical if it's a 3-point win? Yeah, I'm going to talk about where the team could be better, where the holes were, whether practice would have helped JaMarr play better, or whatever the causes are for that game not being as dominant as I think it could be. But it's the NFL. I mean, at the end of the day, Jacoby Brissett was the quarterback of the Browns, and they beat the Bengals in one of the most dominant losses I've seen from the Bengals on Halloween a few years back. So Jacoby Brissett is fine. I'm not going to prop up the Patriots and act like they're some good team, but
Jacoby Brissett's Browns were not Jacoby Brissett's Patriots.
And that is 100% correct. You're definitely right.
It's been too much today. I've finally had enough. No.
You are right, but I feel like people are discounting the Patriots a little too quick. My thing I keep going back to is it's a 9.5 spread, and I know all the stats about more than touchdown favorites, but my thought is, well, this is a really good team against a really bad team. Yeah. Then you think about it one step further, and every spread that's over a touchdown in week 1 is on paper a really good team versus a really bad team. So I think the Patriots will probably cover. I'm not giving away my pick yet because that didn't give it away. But yeah, the Bengals are going to win the game. I think it's going to be closer than it would be if they played in Week 8 or Week 10 or Week 12. I think the Bengals will hit their stride later in the season. They just need to take care of business, and all that matters is putting it in the win column.
I think that Kenner is probably closer to right than wrong when he says that if we do win on a last-second field goal, that we will be having troubling conversations on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday about the way that the Bengals played, whether it be, they ran all over us and they rushed for 150 yards and we're like, what are these linebackers going to do? Do we miss DJ Reader that much? Or if Joe Burrow throws a couple of interceptions and you're like, what's going on? They look bad and the miscommunication.
Is it the wrist? Is it, yeah.
Like whatever the conversation is, there will be those conversations. But at the end of the day, is those conversations come and go if you play well the next game. Like, you don't worry. Like, we're not having conversations in November about, like, you remember when they didn't look very good against the Patriots? Because there's a whole slew of new things, and all that matters is, are you winning games or are you losing games? Yeah, we can sit here and talk about it. We can have concerns about it. But unless they are reoccurring problems, and we will see that in the win-loss column, the only thing that we care about are wins and losses. In fact, I think the only time I've ever heard people talk about whether wins and losses look good or bad is I think Elliott, like 2 years ago, brought up, he's like, yeah, they won 12 games in a row, but they looked bad doing it. And I was like, what is that sentence? I hate that sentence. Let's ban that thing from the English language. But, yeah, I mean, we'll have those conversations. But at the end of the day, as long as there's one in the win column, that's what we have not done over the last 2 years, and that's what I care about.
Fair enough.
I will overreact if they win by a field goal. I want to make that very clear. But nonetheless, a win is a win. If I'm complaining about a 12-game winning streak, I'll be happy to do so.
I know this sounds wild. If they are in a tight game on Sunday because the offense is off to a slow start and the defense doesn't allow the Patriots to run all over them, then I don't feel as bad. I know that sounds silly because you want to see this defense take a step forward from last year, right? And if the offense struggles against the Patriots, you're like, what the hell? It's what's going on? But we've seen the offense get off to slow starts in the past, and we've seen how those seasons end as long as Joe Burrow's out on that field. To me, if the offense plays real well and the defense is why you're in a tough game, then I'll be a little bit more concerned on Monday because then that means, we're picking right up where we left off last year with some of the defensive deficiencies. I do think it's not how you play in a tight game, it's why you play in a tight game, if that makes sense. And we'll get to all of that, obviously, on Monday. I don't think that's the case. I'm giving mine away right now. I don't think the Patriots and Bengals is a close game. I do think Cincinnati, it's the first time Joe Burrow has been healthy an entire camp, despite the JaMarr Chase stuff. This is the most confident I think this team has been entering a week one since Joe Burrow has been drafted. So at the end of the day, I think they'll be fine. But you know me, big Bengals homer. So is what it is. All right, we'll step away for a few moments. I know we got to get to some ad reads. We'll do our NFL picks and some Bengals Patriots over-unders when we come back. More Off the Bench next. We are getting.
Yo, what's up, guys? Hey, thanks for having me on the show today. I'm having a blast, and I'm getting all these ad reads up because I know they're very, very particular. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and give us a like. Go ahead and leave a comment after the show. Share it, all those good things. We had a lot of fun at Champions Grill. Shout out to Champions Grill for having us last night. If you guys weren't able to make it, for those that were able to make it, that's fantastic. Molly, Nate, Mike Ackley, I know there were others that were in the chat that were there. Thank you so much for being there. We're going to be there every other Thursday, 7 p.m. So we'll be there to recap the Bengals game in 2 weeks against the Chiefs. And I don't know who do we play week 3? We play the
Commanders.
Commanders or Panthers?
Commanders, then Panthers.
Okay. So is that a Monday Night Football? No, the Giants is a Monday Night Football.
Commanders
game.
is primetime.
Okay. All right.
I don't know which. It is primetime.
I think it's Sunday. because the Giants.
It's the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, 8:15.
So shout out to Champions for having us there. But we got to pay the bill. So shout out to we just did the Bengals report, and that was brought to you by Encore Technologies. Encore Technologies provides IT solutions for a data center world with a suite of services from mobile computing to desktop to data center, supporting both centralized and work-from-home computing modules to improve both efficiency and
productivity.
Yeah, Productivity. Visit Encore.tech. The path to innovation begins here. Are you still drinking regular water? Ew. Did you know that alkaline water has been shown to have superior hydration benefits versus regular water in a clinical study? Did you guys know that?
No, I did not.
There's a new premium alkaline water out there. And it's Pawnee, and I have to tell you, this stuff tastes great. I'm a born and raised Hamiltonian, and that's exactly where this water is made. It uses natural limestone filtration, unlike the artificial processing that many other brands use. The result is a healthy alkaline water that is also the best tasting water in the world. That's in quotations because that is what people say about the water. You look at the bottle. Only one thing goes in it. It is water. Please visit their website at pawneewater.com. That's PAHHNI water.com to see where you can buy this great tasting water at a store near you. All right, guys, it is week 1, and you know what that means. Bengals games are coming up, and there's not a better place to get tickets for live events, concerts, and sporting events than the Game Time. You can go right there, and you can go on Game Time. It's week 1 against the Bengals. This app really is the best app out there. You get the curated deals to make it easier to find the best price on great seats. You see the seats exactly where they are before you buy. It's the lowest price guaranteed. They have event cancellation protection. And this is where, it just really is the best app. It's all in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkouts. You get a great panoramic view from your seat before you buy. It is the lowest price guaranteed, and you will get they'll credit you 110% of the difference. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CBox for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem, spell out CBOX for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed. Hopefully I got that right. I'm just reading through the email. I haven't done this in a while. So shout out to Casey. He's been taking this Game Time. We love you guys so much. Thank you for having us a part of it.
You got to ask us what time it is.
What time is it?
Game time.
That's right. All right. Game Time. There it is. It really is truly the best.
It's phenomenal.
I remember a few years ago, week 1, I walked in, bought tickets on the way in, and they were significantly they were the lowest. It was great. You could see exactly where you're sitting. And I have used that lowest price guaranteed before.
Yeah,
they pay you 110% of the difference.
That's awesome. Yeah, me and a bunch of my buddies are going down for Alabama, Georgia, and they're all using code CBox because those tickets are.
There you go.
You can use that code on those tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Any other housekeeping things? You're going to be live Sunday.
That's right.
For the entire game. You want to
kick off to final whistle. We'll be live streaming the whole game with a post game show coming up right after. Me and my dear friend Craig Sandlin will be there with you, taking you through live reactions to the game, live post game show. It should be fun. Everyone come join the chat, join the stream. If you're not going to the game, make sure you're watching us. If you have 2 TVs in your house, have one on the game, have one on us. There's a lot of ways to do it. Everyone has a computer. You can pull it up on there. I'm excited to see everyone there.
So I told Jacob this. So I was leaving Champions last night, and I didn't have the YouTube TV phone on my app, and I was trying to figure out where I could listen to the game.
Yeah.
When I was driving home, and I couldn't figure out where I was listening. So I pulled up YouTube and just searched Ravens Chiefs because it was the second quarter. It was right around the time that Patrick threw that interception. And I saw 4 different streams of watch-alongs. It was just a guy with a green screen behind him, and every single one of them had 4,000 concurrent viewers watching it.
Seriously?
And it's literally just a guy in a Chiefs jersey explaining what's going. Not even doing great play-by-play. He was just it's a pass play. Patrick Mahomes to the incomplete. We'll get him next time. And it was just there's 4,000 people. It was incredible because there are a lot of people that don't have cable. There's a lot of people so. Be sure Jacob's a great Bengals fan, so he'll take you through that game. It'll be a lot of fun.
Thank you, Reed.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna go to break land, and then we'll come back to radio land and TV land and YouTube land and all those good things.
I love TV land. Everybody loves Raymond.
Yep.
Everybody Loves Raymond fan?
I love Everybody Loves Raymond.
How could you hate Raymond? I'm a huge Everybody Loves Raymond fan as well, but I'm an old 34-year-old, so kudos to you.
Give me your best Ray Romano.
Yeah, I feel like you could do a Raymond.
Hey!
What? Oh my God! If that was your best, what's your worst, Ray Romano?
Hey,
What the hell?
it's pizza time.
It's pizza time.
It's pizza time.
You got a Ray Romano, Kenner?
No, I can't do worse than that. But do you even know who Ray Romano is?
I do, but I can't do an Italian accent, or I can't do the New York accent.
Has
need
this
to close-
like he's
like-
got like this deep.
It's nasal,
like,
close
it's
your
like,
nose.
yeah,
I
he's
can
like-
do the
James Madison.
I can do that.
What's Ray Romano?
Everybody loves
Everybody's
James
like-
Madison.
I can do his dad. Holy crap!
Your good impressions
Holy-
are locked.
what?
That was terrible.
Holy
too.
crap! Is that what he says all the time?
What's his wife's name in the show? Anyone know?
Marie.
Marie.
Or Deborah. Deborah is
Marie,
yeah.
all right, get out of here. That's my best Ray Romano.
Elliot's good impressions are locked into like the first 10 presidents.
Presidents who we
and
don't
Marge.
know.
I can do Marge
sound like.
Simpson. I can do
You
Marge
can
Simpson.
do Marge Simpson.
Homie, where's Spartan Lisa, homie?
That's really good.
That's a good one.
The lady who does that voice is from Kettering.
Wow.
Really?
So you learn something every day.
How about that?
Kenner, you got to get any good impersonations?
I don't. So you guys know who Joey Molinaro is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's coming on with us next week.
Nice.
Okay? He's coming on with
Very
us next
fun.
week. He does I mean, you're going to be like in love because it's
He's
Nick-
hilarious.
His Nick
I
Saban
love him.
impersonation. I feel like we're about to watch him, actually say Mr. Saban.
I'm
and, like,
gonna have to Mr. Saban him.
I mean, it's gonna be good stuff. But Joey Molinaro is absolutely. He started, I think, with Barstool, and then he was with Pat McAfee for a little bit. I know he's with the station out of Indianapolis right now, but he's coming on with us next week. So I'm super.
Very cool.
I love people who can do the impersonations. I can't do any.
You don't got one? in
Not
you?
one. Not one. Do I? No. I don't even do a good myself. Like I mean,
You impersonate being sober every day.
I got you guys fooled.
Not really.
Not really.
Those eyes are really glossy.
Now, I have a migraine from hell today, so I told you guys when I came in, I'm like, I would like to acknowledge I have a migraine, but you guys won't believe me. I'm hungover every day.
Now, is this a real migraine or just like a headache?
It's a migraine.
I went to school with a kid who said he had a migraine every week, but it wasn't a migraine. He just had maybe a headache, and maybe he didn't even have a headache.
What's the difference? Isn't a migraine just like a severe headache?
Well, correct.
No,
It's a severe headache. It's like
Elliot's
But,
calling
like-
his bluff that it really hurt that bad.
So time out. Like, are you like calling him a liar for saying that his headache's real bad?
Oh my God, are you
Correct.
Adam Schefter?
Correct.
Is he
breaking
faking
Depo right now?
headaches?
No, absolutely not. Also, I love what's going on the TVs. There's
There's a lot going on.
So much happening.
before it was just a pasture of goats, and they would walk around the field.
Elliot cannot stay locked in for the life of himself.
No, but
Huh? Who? What?
this
Hey.
is hey, it's pizza time.
And that's
Dude,
Ray
you
Romano.
Dude, Ray Romano talking to, what's the president here?
James Madison.
James Ray Romano, James Madison. Go.
Hey, James.
Hey Ray, what time is it?
Who you voting?
Hey, it's pizza time.
Do you have any
Nailed
other Ray
it.
Romano lines?
Do you have any other presidents?
Yeah.
I can do.
I've got a JFK and a Barry O.
Well, I can do George Washington.
I can do a JFK.
Ooh. Give it a
I don't
shot.
think a JFK. Yeah, I'll
I
give it a
like
shot.
Reed's. I like Reed's because I know where Reed's going with this, and I was going to steal his bit, but I'm going to let him do it real quick.
What with the? No,
That's
no,
what I was gonna do.
I know.
That's what I was gonna do.
Whenever I do the JFK, I do it when I recite a Robert Frost poem.
Okay.
But it's like some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I had enough of hate, that the destruction of ice is also great, and would suffice. Not bad, JFK. But then it ends like this.
Yeah, no, that's it. And there it is. And there it is.
All right, back to TV
That was
land.
targeting
I think
right
that's
there.
a great JFK, by the
I
way.
thought that was really good.
That is pretty
Especially
good.
the end. That was about as realistic as it gets.
That is pretty
Hey, pizza time.
Is that
You know what time it
Barry O?
is?
I got a Barry O too. You were just doing
Well, we know you
Yeah,
have
let's do it.
Barry
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, it's not actually a impersonation of Barry O. It's an impersonation of Peele from Key and Peele
Doing Barry O?
Doing Barry O.
Okay.
Whoa. And that righteous butt over. I am a God. I've lost it. I've lost it. I've
started off
I've
pretty
got
hot.
it.
Lock it in. Yours.
I lost it. I'll just do JFK again, or I'll do Kermit. Hello, my name's Kermit. We're going to go to
Patrick
Radio
Mahomes?
Land. We've thrown this off the rails. We'll be right back.
That was Patrick Mahomes.
That was. That's
And the reviews are in on the show today. You could find 4 better hosts on the unemployment line than this crew.
Oh, very nice.
We are
Here we go. Let's
We
go.
are doing one hell of a show today. But to be fair, I mean, that was a bad Ray Romano.
That was the best Ray Romano I've ever.
I think we should leave the impressions in YouTube land.
Okay,
Fair
that's
enough.
fine.
Fair
I won't
enough.
do it.
But you know what? I was disappointed. I tuned in last night for a lot of reasons. One, you guys did a great job over at Champions.
Thank you
but
very
two,
much. Very
what
kind
happened to the Ratbird impersonation? I thought we had an agreement that the
Yeah,
Ratbird.
next I'll tell you what. The next time we do it for a Ravens game, I'll bring back the rap.
I think I just heard.
Yeah.
Everyone. Jesus Christ.
All
What
right.
would Ray Romano think about that rapper?
Hey, that's a rat bird.
Off the bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. Justin Kinner. We got Reed in today. We got Elliot. We got Jacob. And this is a sports talk show. We hope. Let's get to it. All right, let's go to a little Bengals over-under heading into their matchup coming up with the New England Patriots. This Sunday, 1 o'clock, the kickoff, of course. Obviously, I think, based on just with all the conversation about JaMarr Chase and, if he's not ready to go for week 1, we don't need him for week 1. T. Higgins, the hamstring. So we talked about, are we overlooking the New England Patriots? That's what we spent the last segment on, of course. But heading into this matchup, it is interesting looking at some of the over-under lines as we head into this. So let's dive into it. I'm stalling because my laptop has completely froze. And I cannot.
I can give you a little bit of time.
There.
Are you
We're good. It popped up. All right, over-under. We'll go around the room. We'll throw it over to Reed. Do you want me to start with you?
Start with someone else, please.
Let's start with Jacob.
Sounds
Jacob,
good.
We'll go right to left.
Right
All right,
here.
over under 250 total passing yards for our guy Joe Burrow on Sunday. Over under.
I'm taking the over. I think Joe's going to look great. I have no worries about JaMarr or T playing or not. I expect him to play, the best, some of the best football we've seen him play. At a full training camp, he's ready to go. This is going to be the best early season look we see of Joe Burrow. So I think as long as weather holds off and there's no rain or anything like that, I think this is a very, very safe over.
Yeah, if the Bengals are going to win this game, it's going to be because of Joe Burrow, and it's going to be because he throws over 250 yards. There's no doubt in my mind he will do that, and also they have to do that. Until I see what this running back room is, I still don't fully believe in them yet. That's with all due respect to Chase and Zach. But as the season goes on, I'm sure I'll develop a trust in them. But until I do, as of right now, this offense is built around Joe Burrow in the wide receiving room, and Mike Gesicki and Drew Sample. Shout out to the tight ends. But I'm gonna say Joe Burrow throws for 300 yards in this game.
300 yards. All right, so definitely going with the over. Mr. Reed, what you got? Over under 250 passing yards for your guy Joe Burrow on Sunday.
I'll take under. I'll say we'll get out to a comfortable lead in the first half, and then we'll be running the ball a lot in the second half to shorten the game. So I'll take under. I think 250 is a lot. Yeah, I'll go under.
All right, and that sets up the next go-round here because, again, Zach Moss. You talked about Gesicki earlier. There's a couple new big additions in the offseason. Moss was one of those additions. Over under 49.5 rushing yards for the new running back for the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday.
I'm going to go under because I don't think he's going to get enough carries. I think, like Reed said, I think we're going to get out to a lead early, and I think part of that's going to be because Joe Burrow has over 250 passing yards, and he's really slinging it early, and then late in the game, I think we're going to see a lot of Chase Brown because his explosion and his ability to turn short runs into big runs. I think we might just see him try to get some more NFL reps in a quote-unquote blowout. So I'm going to take the under for Zach Moss, but that's not because I don't have faith in the run game.
I would take the over on Zach Moss's touchdowns, whatever number you'd throw at me.
Well, you
told
just
me
spoiled the next over-under.
Oh, sorry. Well, either way, I think he'll get goal line touches, but I don't think he'll get the yards. Like I said, I think it'll be a pass-heavy game, and I do think that Zach Moss, towards the end of the season, might not be the starting running back. I'm going to say under 49.5 is what you said? Yeah. Under 49.5.
49.5 rushing yards for Zach Moss. Over. Yeah, I think.
To go back to your point, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be they're going to get open early, and I think they're just going to be pounding the rock with Zach Moss. And I think like I've said multiple times, I think that this running back room, you're going to see similar output between the two of them. That what we got from Joe Mixon, but it's going to just be dependent on the game. And if Zach Moss is the week 1 starter, I anticipate Zach Moss will get over 50 rushing yards.
More rushing touchdowns or more passing touchdowns on Sunday? I know this isn't an over-under, but I'm curious your guys' thoughts on this. Is this going to be a game where the majority of the scores are coming through the air? Obviously not accounting special teams, of course, but majority of the scoring coming through the pass game or run game, in your opinion?
I'm going to say through the pass game because I think Joe Burrow throws 3 touchdowns. and if we score maybe 1 or 2 on the ground, maybe at worst it'll be even. If either of them have a lead, it's going to be passing.
I agree 100% with that. I think it's going to be a Joe Burrow TV fest here. Everybody's going to want to watch Joe Burrow. I think the Bengals offense, again, it's all Joe Burrow, and I think he's going to show up. I'm going to predict it right now. 300 yards. I'm going to say 4 touchdowns for Joseph Lee.
Any rushing touchdowns?
One rushing touchdown. Bengals are putting up 35.
Yeah, 35-point game. I like that. I think there's going to be 4 total touchdowns, either 3 passing, 1 rushing, or 2 and 2.
Fair enough.
I'll take the push. More rushing or passing touchdowns. I think 4 touchdowns seems right, and I think it's going to be 2 and 2. So I'll push you there. I'll push back on you, Kenner. You push, I push. We just push it.
A little shoving match. I like it. All right, so here we go. Here's another one. Let's talk about JaMarr Chase a little bit. I know we haven't talked about JaMarr Chase in a while. I don't know. He's the receiver for the Bengals.
That's right.
Correct.
Yeah.
You got that one.
Not a whole lot about him this offseason.
Was he their first-round pick in 21, I think?
Yeah, a few years back.
Yeah, but no. JaMarr Chase,
tackle.
over under 69.5 total receiving yards coming up this Sunday.
I am going to find money places and get it together and take JaMarr's props. I'm so confident that if he's on the field, and when I take them, if he doesn't play, I'm just going to get the money back. So if he's on the field, I'm very, very confident that he's going to play well. He's going to play to the JaMarr level that we know and love. I don't think he's going to miss a step, because if he is going to miss a step, I don't think he's going to play. So if he's out there lined up, I'm absolutely confident that he's going to play well, and that would mean the over here. I would comfortably take over much more than this.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over as well. In fact, I have already taken the over because I parlayed him with a couple other receivers to get 100 yards each. So he will get 100 yards in this game. At least 100 yards. Huh?
Because you bet on him?
Correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I've got nothing to add other than give me the over. Give me the over.
JaMarr Chase want to have touchdowns on Sunday.
1.5?
Under. Under that.
Under.
He won't get 2 touchdowns.
Hammering his anytime, but under 1.5. It'd be fun though.
It would be very.
It'd be really fun though.
This has a I feel like Burrow will purposely feed him the football on Sunday just to put to rest that narrative of him missing all of camp. Like those two work well together. We can act like I think that's something that they. Not that they're game planning for that, but Joe Burrow, if he could control the pace of that game, which we all know he's capable of doing it, if there's ways to feed him the ball, to get him the numbers, to quiet down anyone that wants to criticize him, sitting in of camp the entire month and a half, I think that's one way just to silence and shut people up right off the bat. I'm going on the over on the touchdowns. I'm putting money on the 2 touchdowns.
But what happens if in the next 2 days Mike Brown whips that golf cart over there, picks up Joe Burrow, and says, "Don't feed JaMarr. You have to feed T today. JaMarr made us look bad this offseason." So I don't know.
Classic Mike.
Under 1.5 touchdowns, but good on the yards.
Well, as we know, if he brings him over on that golf cart,
He'll do the opposite.
Joe will just literally not listen whatsoever. I'm not doing that take again, but God, that boiled my blood.
And they just put it out there like it was just so like, dude, Joe Burrow's so
Joked
cool.
about
He
it.
just ignored his boss.
Yeah.
He's so cool. And I'm like,
The coolest.
I can't go in on that because you guys will just get mad at me. But then my guy Reed over here did it. I'm like, oh, thank God, one of you said it. So.
Well, no, it's crazy. Like, okay, we're gonna do it right here.
I think we're gonna do it.
It's crazy because it'd be like a parent and just being like, yeah, you know what? I grounded my kid. I took his phone away and I told him that he can't have his phone for a week. And what did he do? He walked right on up to the cupboard and grabbed the phone he's been using all week. That little rascal, him.
That little rascal.
All right. Again, as we wrap up the conversation with the Cincinnati Bengals, we're going to do our picks coming up for Week 1, coming up here around the corner. I know some games, obviously last night, Ravens-Chiefs. You have the Packers and the Eagles coming up here later on tonight, and then the full slate of games on Sunday, and then Monday Night Football, which seems like so far off in the distance.
So far away.
It seems like we're not even talking about the Jets and Niners Monday Night Football matchup.
There's so many good football games between now and Monday Night Football. It just, it makes me so happy.
Not many on Saturday, but
There's a lot of great ones on Saturday, and I'm getting this segment in whether you like it or not.
So our pick segment is coming up next. We're going to cover NFL and we're going to cover college football.
Oh,
when we come back.
that startle you?
I didn't know what was happening. All right, Jacob, this is the final segment of the
That's
radio
right.
side.
Of course
so,
it is.
So I feel like I don't want to risk not getting your college football
Let's risk
picks
it.
in.
Let's risk it. I'm a gambler.
You want to risk it?
Yeah.
Oh, you are a gambler.
Yeah.
So we want to kick things off with our NFL picks.
Give me
correct?
yes college football pick segment this show plus 250.
I'm also going to take
I'm
that.
going to take that.
I'm going to take
But
that
we're going
as
to
well.
start with NFL picks.
Because we've been over a little bit today.
Oh,
my
yeah.
fault, of course.
There's
but,
there's a 0% chance we get to it, but that's why I'm taking the value.
Oh, the Ohio 513, just put it in there. Is it on Peacock tonight?
yes.
Come on.
Last night was too.
Was it?
It was on NBC as well, but it was on Peacock.
Aren't you an Office watcher?
Yeah, but I've canceled the subscription since I finished the rewatch.
So get it back.
But I don't want to. It's gone now. I guess I'll have to get it back.
Peacock.
Well, actually, I can't watch the game anyway. Never mind. So I won't watch it. Never mind. Actually, it's a good night to be on Peacock.
I think Peacock is a top 3 streaming service in my opinion.
I like Peacock.
Peacock, HBO, ESPN Plus.
I like that.
That's my
I like
top
that. Netflix has really gone downhill.
Terrible.
How did it just start pouring down rain out of nowhere, by the way?
Yeah,
The
it's
sun
sunny
was out.
out.
It was beautiful out.
Right, Reed?
Wasting time. My fault. We got to keep the train on the
Yeah,
tracks.
you do not want my picks.
NFL picks off and rolling. How do you want to do NFL picks, by the way? Because we did no communication before the show today. On me, that's what happens when you walk in 10 minutes
Kenner,
before showtime. How
Some
would you like to
some
do
of
this?
us are professionals. In
You
the
are
game.
very professional.
And I built out a pick'em graphic for all the games. So if we just go in the order that you sent in the text, we'll have them ready.
And I have that right here.
Perfect.
So now we are a professional show.
Look
Let's
at that.
get to it.
Just for you, for you especially, I made sure it was a 3-person graphic. I'll go ahead and send the first one. Reed is not on there.
Classic Reed.
Reed is not on
Reed
there.
doesn't get to play.
Terrible.
Sorry, Reed. Well, I laughed. I died last
Anyone
night.
hiring? Anyone hiring? I'll send you my resume.
They posted the group pick last night and didn't include you in it.
Crazy!
I got
You weren't
kicked
there!
out of that. That was so hilarious. And then he had to post one by himself later.
Well, I had to make it. I was trying to get the word out for people to come. It was like an hour before, so I was just like, or an hour and a half before. I was like, I want to get it out sooner.
Insane. And we're gonna be live here soon. Reed's not gonna be here. Okay. I thought about turning around.
It's and I only saw 3 chairs originally up there. I see they had to squeeze your chair. And hey, let's get to the first game. Shall we? Our NFL pick'em heading into Week 1, of course, even though Week 1 technically kicked off last night. That's besides the point. Let's start off with the Titans at Bears. The Bears are 3.5-point favorite as we currently sit here heading in to this matchup. I like this matchup because I think a lot of people are so obsessed right now with Caleb Williams, and we love that offense, and I think people are expecting big things out of Caleb Williams and the Bears, but I kind of really like what's going on in Tennessee. I really do like what's going on in Tennessee. I like their wide receiver room. I like the fact that they added Pollard into the mix. I think defensively, this is a team that actually has some pieces to make some noise too. So I'm going to go with the team that no one has really, I don't think I've heard anything about the Titans all offseason. I like their coach. I'm going to go with the Titans over the Bears, despite the Bears being a 3.5-point favorite in Week 1.
I'm also going to go with the Titans, but it's going to be for a couple reasons. A, quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks in the NFL don't cover that spread Week 1. They don't do it. In fact, I don't know if they've done it. I think one time in the last 16 tries.
14-1 in the last 15. That one tie was Kyler Murray.
Okay, so yeah, I love this pick. I'm going to take the Titans with ease here. I also listened. I don't know if you guys knew there's like a sports show on the CW, I guess, where it's like Bill Belichick's on it. I think Ryan Clark maybe is on it, and they were talking about Caleb Williams, and it was Bill Belichick. They're asking, like, they were trying to like be nice to Caleb Williams. They were like, yeah, so he had a good preseason, yada yada yada, and Bill Belichick just deadpans at the camera and goes, well, he wasn't very accurate.
Bill Belichick
he was
noted really good QB scouter.
He was 10 for 20 in the preseason. And the big plays Bill Belichick said weren't very noteworthy. So I'm going to ride with Bill Belichick. I'm going to ride with Bill Belichick here. I'm going to take the Titans, and I'm going to say Caleb Williams doesn't look very good. I think he will look good eventually, but he will not look good in this game.
Everyone knows Bill Belichick dominates the top of the draft, and he's just great at grading first-round picks.
I feel like there's a lot of coaches we can slander, but I feel like Bill just isn't one of them.
Oh, I'll slander Bill Belichick's draft strategy.
I just feel
every chance I
Bill,
get.
when has Bill ever drafted an offensive player?
Okay, but that's fine. But how many Super Bowls does a guy have to win to get some respect?
Oh, he's the greatest coach and the greatest GM of all time. That doesn't mean he's great at evaluating quarterback talent.
I'm gonna say he is.
Well, that's fair, and I'm gonna take the Browns, or I'm gonna take the Bears.
Oh, that was really good.
I'm very, very, very high on Caleb Williams. You all know that, and I think Elliott's stat is getting in my head a little bit about number 1 picks not being able to cover the spread. But the one thing I keep going back to is the Bears weren't picking number 1. The Panthers were. This roster is not bad. This is the best situation a number 1 pick has ever went into. And I do have faith in the Titans, but with a new coach, a new GM, a lot of new pieces, it's going to take a while for them to get up to speed. Not that that's the same, not that issue doesn't exist with the Bears.
Yeah.
It certainly does. I just think that, to me, this is a little bit like a college game. And when I'm looking at the rosters with a spread this close, I just think the Bears' talent will overcome. I think they're more talented at every single position on the field than the Titans. And I think that'll just strictly get them over the edge. I don't even think Caleb has to play great. I think DeAndre Swift and Khalil Herbert in that backfield will be able to run the ball on the Titans. I think the Bears cover this one relatively easily. I think they win by a touchdown at least.
All right, next matchup, Monday Night Football, as we talked about, the Jets at the 49ers. The 49ers a 4.5-point favorite. I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers guy. All right, I'm a big Aaron Rodgers guy, and I think that when you look at the San Francisco 49ers, they've had a lot of noise in the offseason. There's been a lot of noise. We could sit here and talk about Aaron Rodgers has been the king of noise in off seasons, no matter what team that he is on. But I think that the Jets right now, that they are just foaming at the mouth to get back on the field with their guy Aaron Rodgers. They almost got to the finish line last year. They get to the opening game of the season, and he goes out. He's out for the year. It deflates all the energy and the excitement. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, putting the league on notice, pulling off a huge upset in Week 1, knocking off the Niners. A loud offseason again for San Francisco. The Brandon Ayuk thing. Trent Williams just reports this week. Very unfortunate what happened, of course, with the shooting to one of their wide receivers, of course. So at the end of the day, right now, there's just a lot going on that I don't know how much of football has been at the forefront for this team. I like the Jets. I like Aaron Rodgers in Week 1 to pull off a pretty cool upset. 4.5 points. The Niners are the favorite. I got the Jets.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm taking the Jets as well. I don't believe in Brock Purdy. I don't believe that the Niners are going to be a lock to win the NFC and be the 1 seed. I think a lot of the expectations on this team are from what they've done in the past, and they just keep running it back with the same roster, and eventually that's not going to work, and I think that might come to fruition this year, and it definitely does in Week 1. I think the Jets, at the very least, cover the plus 4.5, and I'm kind of with Skinner. I think they might win the game. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a phenomenal quarterback this year, top 10 or so in the league. He's probably going to be in the MVP conversation if he plays long enough in the season. I think he's going to put up phenomenal numbers. Their pieces are great. The Ravens O-line looked terrible last night, and the 2 starters they lost are on the Jets O-line. So if that gives you any little bit of confidence that O-line is going to be better, then what other holes do they have? So I think the Jets are going to be a very, very good team this year, and I think it starts on Monday night.
I'm going to take the 49ers because I think the 49ers are a better roster. I think the Jets are going to be slept on this year. I think they are going to maybe make the postseason. I think there's a solid chance if Rodgers stays healthy. But saying that, I'm going to go to church on Sunday, and I'm going to pray to my God. And I'm going to say, please, 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 let Aaron Rodgers run out of the tunnel with an American flag once again. I want to see if it can happen again. Because if it happens twice, I feel like it's just, I don't know if he can ever hold the American flag again after this, but it would be very, very funny to me.
Okay. How can you cite that the 49ers had so much disruption, which you're not wrong about that, but then just not bring up, I mean, you said like it's a lot of things going off the field that isn't football. When the major stories coming out of New York Jets camp was Aaron Rodgers missing practice, didn't tell his team, missing practice to go to Egypt to do drugs, and then he also was a vice president candidate for a third party. Is that football related? And then the biggest news story currently going on in the NFL is the Hassan Reddick stuff with the Jets. Now, I don't have an opinion on this game other than the fact that, like, the Jets, like Aaron Rodgers, the bar for Aaron Rodgers to clear for the Jets to be better is incredibly low. But I just don't know how you could say, like, oh, the 49ers were very loud and the Jets look focused on football.
Let me rephrase. So, training camp, though. A lot of the Jets noise, to be fair, did come during the offseason. And I hate mandatory and voluntary minicamp. I think that is the most pointless thing in the entire world. These are professional football players, and you're only going to give them a week in the summer to come together to prepare. They're not even going hard at these practices anyway. So I don't really care about mandatory and voluntary minicamp. I love that he went to Egypt. I don't know what drugs he was doing in Egypt. I'm pretty sure they have cooler drugs than we do here in the States. So, you know what? At the end of the – and by the way, Hassan Reddick, you can't miss something you never had. He's never even stepped foot in that facility since being traded there. So I don't think that's as much of a distraction as what people think. But I know what you're getting at. You're right. There was noise. And the vice presidency thing was kind of wild. But none of that noise really – started or was taking place once camp got underway for the Jets. It's actually been a very quiet camp for the Jets as far as that's concerned. Offseason, I agree with you. The Niners, though, a lot of their stuff has been...
There's 2 books published on the Aaron Rodgers' time at the Jets.
There's also some on-field disputes with Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson. I know that were recorded during.
Well, that was.
Well, I'm just saying there was multiple videos.
Yeah, an all-pro quarterback and an all-pro wide receiver talking about how to run routes and then going to dinner afterwards.
I'm just saying the facts, and I'm just saying the facts.
If a video of Burrow and T came out of them arguing at practice, would you be like, "Oh crap"?
Which it did, first week of training camp.
Yeah. I'd be freaking out.
We didn't talk about it once.
There was a book published about how Aaron Rodgers isn't getting along with the team.
Did he write it?
It doesn't
a lot
matter
of people write
who
stuff.
wrote it.
I mean, there's been
How is
people.
that not noise?
A lot of
Adam
outside
Schefter,
pressure, yeah.
Adam Schefter talked about JaMarr Chase not wanting to be with the Bengals.
No, I think the Jets have had way less noise this offseason than the Niners. So, yeah,
See, Jacob knows.
I'm with Kenner on this one.
Yeah.
All the Aaron Rodgers stuff was taken care of before camp.
I guess I'm not like arguing who has had more noise and who hasn't, but like the site, like, the 49ers have had a lot of noise, Jets have been there, and it's like, what?
That's fair. That's a fair question.
I mean, like, they both have been incredibly loud. In fact, I think the Jets lead franchise history in noise. It's somehow the Jets just continue to mess things up.
Where's Casey when you need him? Geno Smith, punched in the jaw. That's the most training camp noise of all time.
Rex Ryan.
Big Geno guy.
Huge.
Next up, we got to roll through these quick. Steelers at Falcons. Falcons a 3.5-point favorite in this one. And I'm here to tell you, if I wasn't working with you guys, I think I'd be overlooking the Falcons like you wouldn't believe. In fact, Kev, my co-host, he looks at me like I'm crazy every time I'm hyping up the Falcons. And he says, but why? And I'm like, well, Elliot and Jacob and Casey and Reed, they really like him. So that's why I like them.
I appreciate
that.
But
no. The Falcons, I think, too, they're a team that's not being really – they're being talked about. Bijan Robinson's getting a lot of love, especially during the fantasy football coverage and this, that, and the other. But they have the weapons. They have the defense to complement the offense if it exists, if it's there. I don't think that the Steelers are going to win this one at all. I don't even know who the hell their quarterback's going to be come Sunday. I have the Falcons winning this and covering easily.
Yeah, I'm going to spoil it right here. I felt really good about the Falcons until you all sent me Falcons. And if you know anything about how these graphics work, if they're all the same team, that never hits.
Correct.
So I'm thinking about changing to the Steelers, but I'm not going to do it because Falcons minus 4.5 is my favorite play in the NFL this week. Russell Wilson, calf strain, obviously still questions about whether he's going to start week 1. The Steelers are notoriously incredibly conservative with calf strains and things along those lines. So I would not be shocked to see Justin Fields out there, and I think the pass rush and the secondary of the Falcons defense would make it hell for him. He can't play in the middle of the field. He's already shown that he can't really throw the ball deep. I want to say yet, but he's been in the league for about 5 years. So when does the yet stop?
Yeah.
I think the Falcons dominate the Steelers regardless of who's at quarterback.
I am going to change it. I'll say now Steelers. I like the Falcons minus 4.5. I'll be betting the Falcons minus 4.5. But for the show, and for those who watched last year, anytime that I had to do this, I was pretty profitable. So I'm going to take the Steelers
But
plus
you're still
4.5.
going to bet on the Falcons?
Yes. Unfortunately, I never actually learned the lesson.
The water couldn't be more muddy right now.
Correct, but that's how I have to do it. The Steelers will cover plus 4.5 just because of how much I don't think they can. That's why they will.
It's week 1, and we're already doing the I like it so much I'm taking the other side?
Correct. I have to fade myself.
I respect
have
that.
to fade myself, and that's what I'm doing here. I don't think the Steelers win this game.
Self-aware.
I don't think they come within 10 points of the Falcons, but because you guys took them, I'm now going to have to take the Steelers.
They won't come within 10 points of the Falcons, but they're going to cover the 4.5.
Correct. That's right.
I understand.
By the way, if the Steelers win this, it's going to tick me off just because it's another one of those classic Steelers. Like, so much, uncertainty, so many question marks, and they just come out and keep doing it because Mike Tomlin, leader of men. Not a fan. Not a fan. Next up, Browns welcome in the Dallas Cowboys. Cleveland Browns, of course, one of the best defenses in the NFL last year, going up against another top defense. Really, this just comes down to, of course, both teams having a little bit of a noisy offseason, a little bit. I mean, the Amari Cooper thing quieted down right off the bat. Cowboys, little noise with their situation there, more so because their owner and Jerry Jones just doesn't shut up. I'm not going to hold the CeeDee Lamb thing against them technically, but when he came out and addressed the media, he being Jerry Jones, it just created a distraction, created a talking point. You literally have your wide receiver tweeting LOL at reports coming out about what your owner is saying about you, so kind of showing a little discontent in the locker room. There's always the uncertainty with Dak Prescott, who has told the media he doesn't pay attention to anything that his owner says because you shouldn't if your owner's Jerry Jones at this point. Bottom line is they are used to playing through that chaos. Look, It's a 2.5-point line. The Browns are the favorite. They're at home. It's basically a pick 'em at this point anyways. These two teams are actually very similar. I want to pick the Browns. I'm going to pick the Browns. But that's because I'm picking the Browns because I want to believe that Deshaun Watson is going to come out and prove that he's the damn quarterback that was worth the full freaking money that he was given. Dak Prescott's the better quarterback. The Cowboys have the better offense because of Dak Prescott. If Deshaun could look like a quarterback that is worth the fully guaranteed money that was given to him from the run game to the offensive line to what he has at wide receiver and tight end, the Browns should win this one, but as we've talked about all offseason, it really just comes down to obviously Deshaun Watson. I'm still rolling with Cleveland, but man, I'm the most uneasy about this one of all my picks so far.
I'm surprised that the Browns were favored in this one. I understand on paper their roster's pretty good and everything, but I'm going to take the Cowboys. I have the Cowboys winning the NFC East, which I think is going to take a lot of wins to do so, and beating the Browns, who are a middling team fighting for a playoff spot. That's what you have to do if you're going to be a Super Bowl contender. And I do think the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders this year. I believe in Dak a lot more than most people. I like their backfield with Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott and maybe a little bit of Dalvin Cook. I think CeeDee Lamb is incredible, and the need for a wide receiver 2 is diminished when you have a guy that can do as much as he does. I really, really like the Cowboys this year, and I think it starts with quite frankly, a dominant win over the Browns. I think they're gonna control the game and take care of business in Cleveland.
Yeah, I've seen enough of Deshaun Watson. I don't think this year is going to prove anything other than he's a washed quarterback who shouldn't be in the league any longer. And by the way, I think if you average out his 2 years with Cleveland in those 12 games he's played in those 2 years, he's still throwing under 60% of his passes. Less than 60% completion percentage is pathetic. I think the Cowboys roll the Browns. I don't think this is close. I think this will be an embarrassment. I'm going to say 55-2.
55-2?
Yeah, Garrett. Safety.
Nice. I don't think
they start 2-0 though. They get up early.
That's good.
Deshaun's 28. I don't believe he's washed up at 28 years old. I have a hard time believing a quarterback forgets how to play quarterback at 28 years old. I'm not saying or defending him to the point that I think that he's been elite in Cleveland. He has not. But there was 2 instances last year where he had his best games. He plays the Titans, has at that point the best game as a Cleveland Brown, and then he misses a month with an injury after. All right, then he comes back, then has his second best game as a Cleveland Brown, dominating the Baltimore Ravens, one of the best defenses in the league, literally only having 1 incompletion in the second half, and had 2 touchdowns, threw for 1, rushed for 1, dominated the Ravens in the second half, led the Browns to come from behind win in the second half at Baltimore, and then, misses the entire season. He showed last year that still exists in him. He could still play at that level. It's not about whether he could still play. It's about whether he could stay healthy. I really, truly believe it's about whether he could stay healthy more than it is whether he could still play the position as far as that's concerned.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, and I think it's important to remember that there is a spectrum of health as well. I don't mean for Deshaun to stay healthy, that doesn't just mean playing 15 games. It means playing 15 games at 100% or close to it. He gets dinged up a lot now, and that shoulder injury lingers. Yeah. And if that shoulder even if it only causes him to miss 1 or 2 games, and it lingers for a month and it affects his play, that's going to drag the Cleveland Browns down. So even if he is out there, I think it's important to focus on how that shoulder looks, especially, and everything else he's had to deal with over the last few years.
It's fair.
All right, and the last one as we wrap it up on the radio, obviously the Patriots at the Bengals. We talked about this a little bit ago. The Bengals, 8.5-point favorite. I said it earlier. I think the Bengals win this one easily, and I think that they cover. I think that right now, despite all the talk about JaMarr Chase, there's just way too much positive momentum with this team. We knew that this team was, the back-to-back AFC championships, and the only reason they didn't have a chance to get back for a 3rd straight time and maybe back to a Super Bowl is because Joe Burrow goes out injured for the year last year. The bottom line is this team front office sacrificed a lot to get this roster to come into this season intact, not knowing even with the uncertainty of T. Higgins' future, knowing that he's not going to be a Bengal long-term, knowing that they could have gotten some nice draft picks back for him, but opted to go all in to win a Super Bowl or give their team the best chance to do so. I think they sacrificed a lot. T sacrificed a lot. He was requesting the trade, ultimately just said enough's enough. I don't want to be a distraction. Same thing with Hendrickson. This team just has too many pieces on both sides of the ball. As much as a hater as I am, I can't deny how good this team is when they're healthy. Well, this team's healthy right now. This team is healthy, and the big question mark is, will JaMarr play? It's not, is JaMarr healthy? This team's healthy. They're ready to go. I like them on both sides of the ball, and I definitely like them against the New England Patriots. I think they win by at least 2 possessions. They definitely cover in this one.
I have voiced my concerns about the Bengals spread, and obviously all the numbers would tell you to take the Patriots, but as you can see, I'm taking the Bengals as well. It's week 1. I haven't watched number 9 play quarterback in quite some time. I'm not counting that one preseason drive, even though it was the best drive of my life at the moment. But seeing him back on the field, I just know if that ball gets kicked off and we're on offense first, and I have Patriots plus 8.5 sitting in my unnamed sports book, I'm going to be pulling my hair out because I'm going to want to have the Bengals. I'm going to believe in the Bengals once the game has started. Even though I do now, I'm going to believe in the Bengals win by double digits when the game starts. So that's why I'm going to take the minus 8.5, even though it doesn't necessarily seem like the best bet. I think we're just going to dominate in every facet of the game.
I'm doing this for America. I'm doing this for the great city of Cincinnati. I'm doing this for the people in this room. I'm going to take the Patriots plus 8.5. I'm going to be on that. I'm going to die on that hill for everybody, and you can all thank me when the Bengals cover this spread. But for now, I'm going to take plus 8.5. The public is all over the Cincinnati Bengals. The heavy favorites in Week 1 stat that Kinner gave earlier is real. I do think that the Patriots somehow make this game close. I think it'll be a high-scoring game just because I think it should be a low-scoring. I'm going to fade everything that I think about this game. So I'm going to take the Patriots for you, Reed, for you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Not so much for Kinner. And for the chat, this is for you. I'm making this pick for you. Patriots plus 8.5, even though I don't believe in it at all.
All right, Reed, obviously big Patriots fan, huh?
When Tom was there, sure. Listen, I'm going to take the Bengals minus 8.5, minus 9. It's down to 8.5. It was up to 9.5. Yeah, I'm gonna take it. Listen, I don't know if you know this about me, Kidder. I'm going to take the Bengals every single week that I sit down and watch the Cincinnati Bengals. So since I've been gambling for about 4 years now, every week it's been betting on the Cincinnati Bengals. And yeah, I truly believe that they're going to cover this spread. The only thing that can possibly get me really worried about this, I mean, even like I said, if we win by a last-second field goal, if we lose, I mean, if we get blown out, that's a whole different story. But, like, if the only thing that can really concern me about this game is if our defense gives up, like, 30 points to that offense, that would give me serious worries. That would give me serious concerns. Everything else, I'm just going to sit down. Hopefully we take care of business and move on to play Kansas City, who, by the way, gets a 10-week break. Gets a 10-day break. 10-day break before playing the Bengals. Not very fair, but I guess that's what happens.
Oh, here we go.
That's right.
Here we go.
They got like a 3-month break before we're playing the Ravens, too. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Outside of my free space on my Bengals fan excuse bingo card, I mean, I had that one ready to cover right away. So,
10 days.
Well, wait for next week.
Next
week it'll be. Let's take care of the Patriots first, then we'll start reeling it out there. I'm not a big excuse guy though.
Not a big.
He's not an excuse guy.
Not at all.
Not an excuse guy. Not a big one, at least.
That's right.
No. All right. Cool stuff. Everyone have a great weekend. That wraps it up for us on the radio side. This has been Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. All right, and we're back to close things out. I have to wear a Bengals jersey on Sunday. I'm
Yes.
Let's make sure we get pictures.
Which one you wearing? Who you wearing?
I haven't decided yet. I don't. So we have to do. I know no free ads, but what the hell? Hollywood Gaming be out there for their Bengals tailgate, and they reached out. They clearly don't listen to the show. Not a lot of people do. Okay, clearly don't listen to the show. Like, we'd love to have you out here to hype up the Bengals fans. I'm like, really? Me? Okay.
Let's do it.
They want us to wear Bengals gear. I'm like, I gotta go get Bengals gear. I mean,
That's
come
hilarious.
on. But yeah, I'm pretty nervous. I mean, I was practicing today. Did you guys notice? I was practicing my positivity.
That
with
was
the
good.
Bengals.
It was
I
good.
thought I did pretty
Do you
good.
know the lyrics to the song?
What?
Do you know the song?
Yeah.
I'm a hummer. I just hummed the song.
So it's about 50%.
They're gonna
of the
make you
stadium.
sing the song.
You're gonna have to sing the song.
You're gonna have to sing the song.
Do the Browns have a song, or do they just bark?
Yeah, it goes.
Do they just
Nailed
bark? Have you participated in the barking that goes on when you go to a Cleveland
So
Browns game?
I took my wife to a Browns game. Brownies, here we go. Oh. So the wife, I took her to a Browns game one time. She will never go back. She said she thinks
that's
that
good.
it's
Oh,
actually
the
absolutely
Browns
appalling.
fans don't even like going?
The apps. She thinks it's absolutely appalling to see grown men bark. And
Your
I'm
wife
like,
sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
She gets it.
she does. She likes the Bengals.
Even better.
So what happened to you? Why do you do this? to
Something in the
yourself?
water in Van Wert.
There is something clearly.
The thing you guys don't know about me is I actually grew up a Cowboys fan because I'm from Texas.
Oh, wow.
I lived in El
Cowboys Browns
Paso.
fan. That adds up.
Yeah, we had Stephen A. one time. He just went off on me. Not only are you a Browns fan, you're not only a Cowboys fan, you're a Browns fan too, and just thought that was the absolute craziest thing. I'm like, but I at least have. There's some people that like are fans of teams that there's just no. I just like them. I just like the Cardinals. No reason. I'm just a Cardinals fan in Dayton for no reason. I'm just a Cardinals fan. I grew up in Texas. I'm from Texas. That's why I grew up a Cowboys fan. But when I moved to Ohio, lived in Van Wert. Okay, everything I'd say probably north of Sydney pretty much gets nothing but Cleveland. So we were all Cleveland Indians, Cleveland Browns, Cleveland everything, as far as that's concerned.
I judge people's fandoms pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Like if you're not from there, you don't have any connection there with parents or anything, I judge people's fandoms pretty heavily if they're just randomly picked teams. I have a buddy who's a Dallas Stars fan, a Cubs fan. He never lives in Chicago. He roots for Spain in like the World Cup and stuff. I think he's a Bulls fan in the NBA. It's no connection to Chicago other than I think it was like a youth baseball team or something. It's crazy.
You forget that I lived in a homeless shelter in Chicago well after I picked all these fans. Yeah.
That was Reed.
Yes, my Cubs fandom. Kirby had me on, and he asked me. I had Chatterbox Reds one day, and he's like, "Hey, how did you become a Cubs fan?" Expecting like, "Oh, your dad's from Naperville or something like that. He grew up a diehard Cubs fan, and he bestowed it onto you." No, I just played coach pitch on the Cubs, and that's when I started liking baseball.
Love it.
And like Sammy Sosa was hitting 60 home runs a year, so it was pretty quick to fall in love. And my family like fed into it because like my family's really into baseball, and I was really into Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh at the time. So they're like, "You want to be a Cubs fan? Fine, we'll take you to all the Cubs game." And it's just unraveled from there. The Dallas Stars thing, it came from. You remember the Macklemore song "Thrift Shop"?
Oh yeah.
I went thrift shopping.
What?
I went thrift shopping when that song was out and
This
found a
is
Mike
effing
Modano jersey.
awesome.
So yeah, I found a Mike Modano jersey, and
Still
Mike-
fits.
No, that one. That
was
I
the Jamie
lost
Benn
it.
that doesn't fit?
Yeah, I bought someone from a Chinese website, and like every time I washed it, it would like started in XL, and it was like over my belly button at some point. But yeah, go Stars, go Cubbies. Go.
Everett's, while we're on the topic, Everett's asking about our boss's fandom.
Yeah, that's
Packers,
it's a tough one.
Jayhawks basketball, Georgia football, Reds.
He doesn't have an excuse for Kansas.
He has ties to the other ones. Still
Yeah,
crazy.
his step parents or his step grandfather played for both Georgia and the Packers.
So when we sat down and he had asked me about doing this show, I'm like, it's kind of like when I looked at Hollywood Gaming. I'm like, you want me to do a Bengals tailgate? What? Like, so when he asked me, I'm like, outside of the Reds, like as much of a Reds fan as I am, I probably despise the Bengals as much as I love the Reds. He goes, yeah, I know. It's good. I'm like, so blame him. Blame Trace.
Oh, we
All
do.
right? Well, I know you do. I'm just saying, like, Trace, he had a smirk on his face, too. I think he kind of enjoyed the fact that he was dropping me in on you guys to just make your lives hell. And he got a huge kick out when I said I didn't want to work with you. So here we are.
Yeah,
as far as that goes.
It is funny that you kicked me off the show. I had fun today, though. I'm
trying to figure out.
It's actually funny. My Cubs fandom's so toxic that my friends don't let me talk about it. I've said this before. Like, I'll have a group chat and we text all day long. And if I bring up like the Cubs score or what's going on in the Cubs game, I immediately get an OMG followed by "Do you ever shut the F up about the Cubs?"
Nice.
Every time. It doesn't matter what I say. It's just the exact same 2 text period. And there's 9 people in this chat, and that 2 texts both get like 8 ha-has on it. So it's just
There you go.
It's like the running joke. They also don't call me Reed, they call me Ridiot.
I like
That's
that.
good.
I like Ridiot.
You shouldn't have said that because we're going to steal that.
Ridiot.
Is that why you're Elliot?
Oh, no.
No, that was just
Oh, no.
that was just my birth name.
Oh, no.
That's just what the parents decided.
Fair enough.
Thanks. By the way, real quick, we do have a video coming out in 3 minutes. It is I go with Caleb 513, Red super fan and ball hawk extraordinaire. We go out to Great American Ballpark, myself, Jacob, and Casey, and engage in hijinks at Great American Ballpark with the ball hawk super fan, Caleb 513. Again, that happens in 3 minutes. So everybody, if you want, go to that.
Yeah, one last thing for
Yeah,
me.
hurry, get to it.
Oklahoma -29, Bama -30, Ole Miss -41.5, Nebraska -6.5, Ohio State -36.5, Tennessee -8, and Michigan +7.5. Those are my picks for this weekend. Clip it, run back, watch that, slow it down, whatever you need to do, take them all.
You want to know a
tell me
crazy
to
one?
watch college football, and you just named 8 spreads, and 7 of them were over 20 points.
And they're locks.
You want to know a lock for me? Bowling Green.
Ooh, I like
Bowling
BGSU.
Green covers. I'm just saying. They're minus.
got
Let's
a
see.
kid
Penn
from
State's
Kettering.
-35.
They got a kid from Kettering, right? Bowling Green's quarterback's from Kettering.
I should know that.
Yeah, yes.
He's an alternate. He's got to be the first person ever to go in reverse order. He first started in the SEC for Missouri, and then he went to the Big Ten.
Is that Bazelak?
Yeah.
Oh,
I at least know who it is. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So there's that. All right. We good? We
Yeah,
done,
we're
boys?
good. Again, that is in 3 minutes or 2 minutes now. Go to our YouTube. It'll be under the video tab. Myself with Caleb513. I'll see you guys there in 2 minutes.
Are we boxing after that video?
Yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah, I think so. I imagine so. We'll see what's going on here, what the plan is. But yeah, I think so.
Sounds good.
Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Enjoy week 1 of the football season. We'll do this again on Monday.
That plus 250 cash.
I'm changing.
I'm changing.